Yeah.
sauerkraut, and you pepper it real good.
Sauerkraut in a burrito?
Absolutely, keep going. I'm gonna keep going. After
Okay.
the sauerkraut, if you want a little extra kick, you throw some pickled jalapenos in there. Heat this all up in the pan, by the way. Everything's going in the pan. You get that going, and as that's heating up in there, you're whisking up some eggs to get some scrambled eggs in there. So at its core components, it's chorizo, sauerkraut, onions, garlic, and battered eggs. You put all that together into a burrito, top it off with some Louisiana hot sauce. Perfection. Wrap it up.
No cheese or anything?
Don't even need it. Like, you can add it, but the consistency of the sauerkraut makes it feel like cheese without the creaminess. So if you're missing the creaminess, you can add cheese, but I almost never do just because the sauerkraut does it for me.
Well, I've never. Where did you get the idea to put sauerkraut in your burrito?
I just really like sauerkraut, and I'll eat it with everything.
I was thinking it was just like the clean out the fridge day. Once you're like down to the scraps, it's like, what can I make out of all
I
this?
definitely made some interesting stuff that way for sure.
I bought sauerkraut in bulk, and I throw it on. I make cheeseburgers with sauerkraut, everything.
I do not like sauerkraut, but I think it's more of a mental block for me. It's the same reason I don't like sour cream. Like something with the name sour in it or the word sour in it in front of it.
Sour cream.
I'm not a fan.
Sour cream. I had sauerkraut meatballs, they were pretty decent.
What about sour beers though?
Sour beers I do like.
Yes.
I
What about
definitely
sour candy?
Well, we gotta sell the burritos with sour beers.
Isn't that too much sour? Don't you want something to like offset it with the beer?
Sour Patch Kids.
Like the cranberries, so I don't think that.
Wouldn't you want like a Mexican lager with like a tinge of lime in there or something? Like something.
Lagers, man.
Oh, we did add a little lime on this burrito this time too. I squeezed a little lime. Yeah, so that could work.
I don't like sauerkraut, but I'd try it. I would. I'll try anything. I
think this would make you like sauerkraut.
That's what I'm afraid of. I just don't. I don't know. So, like I said, it's the word, and it's also going to Chipotle and watching people say, "More sour cream, more sour cream, more sour cream," and it's just a bowl of sour cream.
Be like a little bit.
Ugh. It makes me sick. I can't.
Yeah.
I have to turn away. I have to look the other way when they're doing it and just gag in line. Then everybody's like, "That guy's sick. He's gonna throw up."
Kobe loves sour cream.
You can put sour cream.
Do you guys
on
like
everything.
cottage cheese then too?
Oh,
yeah.
I love cottage cheese.
Okay.
Best.
See, there's something there. Like I don't like cottage cheese either. It's weird. It's gross.
All this stuff we're talking about is fermented. Like that's
I don't think I've ever taken a bite of cottage cheese
so good.
because I know I will not.
There's
like
several times I ordered that as my side at a restaurant. They say they have cottage cheese. I'm like, yeah, a plate of cottage cheese sounds great. Let's do that.
I'm with you, Kobe. I like cottage.
You can skip the fucking pineapple on there. I don't care about that.
I like pineapple.
I like pineapple. I just don't want it with anything ever, unless it's other fruit.
For me, that's pickles. I like pickles alone, but pickles on something is too dominating of a force. Like it takes over the dish. So it does need to be in moderation. Yeah, right.
Pickles on a chicken sandwich, a burger. So good.
It can be properly balanced, but most of the time it's it's not.
Proper pickle is meant to be had on its own. I agree.
Because like barbecue, I respect.
A pickle on the side. A pickle.
Right.
The pickle.
It's a nice like palate cleanser, and in between like stuff you're eating, it's good. It serves a function and it works. But I don't know. I feel like I interrupted Cameron 10 times in that conversation. What were you trying to say?
I don't like hot pickles. You're right. I like a cold pickle by itself.
Yeah.
It's pretty picky. So
I like salads. I like salad, but I don't want it on my taco at all.
Depends who's buying. If I'm buying the taco, I'm not getting lettuce on it. But if somebody buys me a taco, I'll just eat whatever's on it. I'm not
It's
gonna.
just crunchy water. It's delicious.
Yeah.
It depends on the lettuce. If it's not very good, then I don't want it.
All right. Well, let's get on the D&D train now that I'm good and hungry. I'm gonna start saying the titles of these episodes too. So tonight is story mode, episode 32, the Tower of Pestilence. And as always, we're gonna start.
We're
with
not going to go to the tower.
the
We're just going to fuck
fun
around for the whole episode.
facts. That's fine. There's plenty of stuff to do around the island. You don't have to go to the. This is just merely the first in a probably a good number of episodes that we're gonna have that are somewhat centered around this island. So
Now we need to speed run it.
you do
Start
your
thinking really
best. Do your best to speed run it. There's-
This is like the time when we thought Lambros was just a go in, go out. We're going to be there for like 2 seconds, guys.
Well, you thought we couldn't beat the AI simulator, and look at
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
That was a good game.
Probably won't be as long as Lambros. No, but
Well, that's quite the metric to be throwing at us. Like,
lots to see and do. Lots to see and do in this place. But the question for tonight, for you guys, for your characters, what's the time that you made a mistake? What's the time that your character made a mistake and that you recognized it? Like, maybe not all of you have the same capacity for self-reflection, but what was the time, or as soon as it you just thought to yourself, man, I really messed up? And did you immediately, like, resolve that? Or was it involving a person? Did you apologize to them? Or is this, like, something that haunts you in your memories? Like, you're walking down the street and you just, like, physically twitch and cringe from the thought of you just failing so hard. But I don't know. When I think of failure, the person I think of, Josh, is Blib do pull up. So, not because Blib do pull up is so far away from any form of failure and self-reflection that that Tug would just never acknowledge that he was ever wrong. So I'm just genuinely curious. Can you be a god and be humble? Is what I was getting at there.
It's not the way you said that.
Maybe I backtracked a little bit to make it a little bit more nuanced, but yes.
So maybe the question is, have you ever felt like
I messed up on your intro? Yes. Is that fair? I'm sorry.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I mean, and I was 100% going to answer as soon as you stopped talking, because Blue pull up, if for the ones who've been following along, may possibly have made a few mistakes along the way, but they're debatable. I think we would all say that things are better now than what they were. So there's growth.
Okay.
Growth is bad, and growth hurts sometimes.
Sure.
So I think that answers the question perfectly.
So not one stands out to you, though? Just multiple ones? But you're better for it kind of thing?
I mean, losing my first scribe is the thing that immediately, like, that's the thing that comes immediately to my head. But I'm sure if we really reminisced and, got our heads together, there's probably a few times.
I feel like the scribe was a learning curve for you.
It's all been a learning curve. I mean, y'all don't understand the weight I feel on my shoulders constantly. I mean, just like, especially lately, because I haven't really reached out in a while, and I'm really feeling it. And it's probably they're probably gonna need some re-encouragement soon.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a minute, that's for sure.
Yeah, but has it though? How much time has really gone by?
A couple days at least. You used to reach out all the time.
What? The court system will do that to you.
Hey man, you've had water all around you this whole time, but let's not get into that. We'll do that when the session starts. But Ian, how about Soul or Sailor Sun? Any mistakes?
Well, yes, I think the obvious mistake is why I'm no longer a Sailor Guardian of the Moon. I, as Icarus did, tried to fly too close to the Sailor Sun. and lost my power. Sent down to Earth to learn humility.
Is
So,
there a lesser offense?
instant regret.
Instant regret. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
pretty driving force for your character, is on the path of redemption, so to speak, for what's been
But
done.
since then, I have felt no regrets at all. I instantly joined the coolest of groups. So cool that the whole government wanted us. And just been hanging out ever since, so pretty good.
Living that good life.
Living that sweet damn good life.
Cameron, does Stony have any regrets? I imagine you probably have a pretty similar one to Sailor Sun, actually.
Well, I mean, I can honestly tell you I've never made any mistakes.
Mm.
Not a whole lot of regret. You know, I'm pretty got lots of humility. But you know, my parents and you know, I'm sure they've assumed I've made some pretty big mistakes. Stuff that comes to mind, I guess, got a pretty good scolding about was my brother Titus. He's gonna be the next king. So he started taking on some more responsibility when he started learning under my father.
Mm-hmm.
And so my father started bringing us, and more specifically him, to start meeting some important people. And the first time that he met someone from a neighboring city, their king, and he bowed to this gentleman, and I blew my conch horn, and it sounded like a pretty funny fart. I thought it was hilarious, but you know, they sent me away immediately and had to apologize to this other king. But so in recent memory, I suppose that's probably, I guess I regret a little bit, but
I mean,
all in all,
did people laugh?
there's a couple snickers. You know, farts are always funny. They're always going to be funny.
Yeah.
But you know, it's really important people surrounded by, you know, their servants or their aides. You know, definitely saw a couple of grins across some.
It's not your fault
Pretty
people
good.
can't recognize comedy. I mean, that's just
I mean, exactly, yeah.
this good old wholesome fun. I mean, it probably lightened the mood quite a bit. I don't know under what circumstances they were meeting, but nice old fart will just clear the air for sure.
Yeah. No, my thoughts exactly, but it didn't go over so well.
Tyrell, Jared, how about any regretful or farts that were mistakes by chance?
Yeah, I suppose I have a story. And forgive me, this is a bit of a tough one to relive,
Uh-oh.
but I believe I've gained some trust in the most of you. So basically, this occurred during the night. My parents were murdered in the alley after the show we saw. Essentially, I remember during that night, just after the intermission where most people left to take a break, I had refused to go during that intermission, and not long after everyone came back as the show returned, I decided to go relieve myself alone. As I'm in the restroom, I hear some noises from the last stall on the left. There sounds a struggle. After I completed my duty, I went to go see what the commotion was and found a man tied up to a toilet. His eyes were wide in pain. He essentially requesting me to unattach him from his these bandages, these ropes he had tied around him. I went ahead and completed this. My young mind, not thinking, why was this man tied up? He quickly, profusely thanked me and ran away. As I returned back to the show with my parents, I had a sinking feeling in my stomach for the entirety of the rest of it, just thinking that I had released a terrible criminal, not even thinking to release this man, because my young, dumb brain just releasing him. So much so that I become visibly ill. My parents decided that we should leave the show before the conclusion. And then in the alley on that fateful night, I think we know the rest of that story.
So, do you think it was the same person, or do you want to not allow yourself to face that truth?
I'm heavily in the thought that it was. I don't know without a doubt, but it's more than likely.
That's pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think you should consider that a mistake. I mean, you saw a person in distress and you helped them.
Oh no, the mistake was not going to the restroom when told.
Oh, before the... Okay.
Okay, probably also the rest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could blame yourself for that much, but...
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
I mean, it made you who you are today. You're stronger for it, as Tug would tell you. So,
Sure.
but damn, that's an extra layer to your story that I didn't realize, I didn't see coming. So,
Yeah, thanks for the prompts. It's fun.
no problem. Kobe, how about Detective Easter? It's a good transition from murder. Do you think you could help Tyrell with his murdered parents mystery?
Yeah, I'm sure we could get to that. There's a lot of other mysteries that seem to be need to be solved at the moment.
True.
But there's two main like embarrassing mistakes that pop out. One more embarrassing than the other, which is you remember Detective Johnston, R.I.P. He died in the battle.
Yep.
Well, we were back in that pranking war, and I definitely thought, he went to go sit down in his chair, and I pulled out the chair. It looked like him from the back, but it was a different detective, and it was just he already had a bad day, and I felt so much worse that I, pranked the wrong guy there by pulling his chair out. But then the other mistake I'd say is, I assumed that the Zoo Warriors Electric Boogaloo 2, they were going to be a bad bunch. After hearing the stuff of Billy Banger and, I just assumed that they were not going to be, friendly or, capable of saving a city. And boy, I was proved pretty wrong. So
Wow.
they turned me around a little bit. Yeah.
How about that?
Guys are, I expected this to be much more lighthearted, but you guys are making some deep cuts, some emotional ties here. Definitely, I don't know. Curious to see how the rest of the night's gonna go with this energy we got here. So,
Lots of farts.
yeah, farts, dead parents, regrets.
I've been farting all day, dude.
But I won't hold you guys back any longer. Last we left off, you guys had enjoyed a long rest at the campfire just outside the Tower of Pestilence, accompanied by the Bard and the Brute, who had made their way out here to sort of record a sonnet, a song, a saga, a poem, something of the like, just a story to bring back and tell a tale to the masses. You guys appear to have found yourselves in one of those stories, but it's up to you how it's gonna go. So you sort of awaken, but before all of you awaken, there's one person I need to do something first. Stony, go ahead and give me a D20 roll.
Hold on. Forgot to Google that.
You're gonna Google what you
Roll
Roll.
D20.
Yeah. My joke wasn't very good.
I can always roll.
Is a 17.
17. All right. So, you maybe feel a little sweaty when you slept. You can't tell if it was the ocean spray hitting your face or if it was a little bit of sweat, but you sort of half remember a dream. You had your fingers in your mouth and you like pinpricked your finger on what you thought were shark's teeth, but you woke up and felt your teeth and they're just fine. They're not sharp or jagged or anything. So it was just sort of a strange, half-forgotten dream that you had, but nonetheless, it felt real there for a minute. But otherwise, the Ifrit sort of gets up and stokes the fire with his sword. The rest of you kind of roll around, wake up, exit your meditative state, and you sort of look up at the cloud-covered sky. It's not exactly a big thunderstorm or anything, but it's just sort of gray and dismal and just sort of light mist on you guys. So it's not favorable conditions to be outside any longer.
Do you have the stream ready?
Ooh.
Yes, I do.
Did
Well,
we get a full heal for the night?
Yes. Like I said, you guys got a long rest, so.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure that was...
Well, I'm stretching my arms up and doing the standard yawn and thinking, what a lovely day it is.
I must say, these are not favorable conditions to be outside.
Says you.
The bard is still fast asleep. I'm getting some echo through your microphone, I think. Check. No? Yes, no? No, I guess not. Never mind. I thought I heard it for a second.
Just so peaceful.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear the ocean sounds or not, but it's very
Yeah,
peaceful.
It's very nice.
I'm gonna get up and look around real fast. What's the brute doing?
So he continues to just kind of stoke the fire. He takes some logs from beside him and puts them back on the fire and adjusts them with his hand, and he's starting to get a good flame going. You can ignore the giant swordfish. It's nothing but a skeleton at this point, so...
These crates nearby, do they have any resemblance to the crates that we saw, like the Yanti were shipping into the port?
No, and these crates are in a condition you can kind of see through the boards, and they're almost like a lobster trap kind of thing. Like they're just a basket
Gotcha.
more than they are an actual crate. There's nothing contained within inside them.
How does Tug feel about that?
I don't know. Tug can tell you or you can ask a Tug.
He's still asleep.
I was gonna say, I think some of you guys are still sleeping.
I will go and wake up the party.
All right, you
How will you
approach.
do that?
Wake up!
You hear you hear the bard from far away go, "Oh, oh, mommy, mom, oh, I'm Detectivista. Yes, ha. Good morrow. Good morrow. Did you rest well?"
I did, thank you.
I'm quite famished. Long night, lots of regaling of stories and conversation. I think I'll have a little breakfast. He sort of rummages through his bags and things and finds a couple eggs that he pulls out and sort of chucks them over at the brute. Says, "Brute, make me breakfast."
I'm gonna go over towards the brute and investigate those eggs. What kind of eggs are those?
Sure. So you investigate, and they appear to be some sort of chicken eggs. They get little spots on them, as best as you can tell, but non-magical as best you can tell. But you hear
I was trying to see if they were crow eggs.
right, yeah, definitely
I'd like to go
avian
to
in
the brute.
nature, but you're going over to the brute too.
Yeah.
So you
Since he's been thrown food, I'd like to ask what his chef credentials are.
So he sees both of you sort of approach, and he sees you looking at the eggs, and he sort of gives you this look like you need to take a step back.
Is he holding his sword while he's also holding the eggs?
No, his sword's currently in the fire.
Yeah, I'm not going to take a step back. I'm just going to stand where I'm at.
I'll take one step back of respect, but I'm not going too far.
Sure. You take one step back to kind of give him his space, and he just kind of looks at you, Detective Easter, like, you gonna move? He doesn't say anything. He just looks at you.
Am I directly in his way to make something in the fire, or am I just close enough to
No,
investigate?
you're just close enough to investigate.
Yeah, no, I'll just keep... how tall is he?
He's sitting down, but even sitting down, he's almost your height.
Oh, well, damn, he's pretty big.
He is pretty big.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to seem intimidated. Well, Zoo Warriors, heroes of Night Counties, are we going to investigate this tower?
Before we leave, anyone fancy a dip in the water? I need to get some water through these gills, all this smoke from the fire.
Help yourself, Stony. I almost called you Tony.
You don't say that name in this group.
Oh,
Yeah, you have everyone up their knife at your neck. Yeah.
love to pull up. It's just his little.
I didn't know I was stupid. I went, ah!
Nick sort of turns and wakes up sort of groggy. Just kind of looks around, sits down on the crate and sort of warms his hand by the fire.
Nick, perhaps you should limber up in case we have to do any more jumping today.
Haha, good one, Detective Easter. Yeah, don't think we'll be doing a lot of jumping, but I appreciate your sense of humor.
I know a knight named Sir Shaqual O'Nall who enjoys putting something called Icieth Hotteth on his knees when he jumps.
Is that
Perhaps that's
a
what you need, Sir Nick.
is that a spell? Is that a cantrip?
It is a type of lotion made from the innards of a plant when it's been mashed together.
Oh, very interesting. I'm
It has
very
a nice cooling sensation blended with a strong amount of heat that helps with the muscles, I hear.
You seem to know a lot about plants. Perhaps you could or would enjoy the my father's study, where he had a great number of plants. He also has quite the greenhouse in the backyard. I'm sure you could teach me how to make such this hot icy, as you said. Icy hot?
I would love to. I just noticed that they seem to be on all the notice boards of advertisements about this all through the cities. So I thought I'd just reference it to let us all be aware of things that can help our bodies when we make the quick fall.
I'm clearly behind the trends. I've been gone from Nicanthes for far too long. But now there's advertisements. Just so much
If
to
it's
learn.
on an advertisement board, I can't afford it.
Well, icy hot or no, whenever you guys are ready to roll, I'm good to go.
Well, Stony, are you getting your splash on, or shall we investigate the island?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a really, really dope cannonball.
All right. Just right off the edge here.
There's a lot of rocks down there. You should be careful.
Soon
It
there'll
will
be
be
a
a very dumb cannonball.
How are you gonna get back up?
There's
I'd
good.
climb.
Yeah.
I hear someone in our group has a thing of rope.
It's pretty,
but it's
pretty sheer
used it
cliff.
a lot.
But yeah, I mean,
Let's not overuse the rope.
Have we ever used the rope?
Yeah. No. Let's not overuse it.
go ahead and give me a acrobatics check here. We'll see if you stick the landing.
13. Lucky number.
Yeah, you jump in the water. You've done this before. You sort of pencil dive though. Your jump wasn't quite as nice as you wanted it to be.
That's shallow.
Yeah, sorry. The water should be a little higher here.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you dive
The
in.
tide,
And,
the tides went out for the evening. They just now came back.
yes, it ebbs and flows. Woo. But no, you sort of look at the rocks though and realize that it is gonna be difficult to get back up.
Well, guys, we ought to move on.
Do you intend to leave Stony behind?
I look around, like, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
you guys go ahead.
It'll be just a stone's throw away.
So if you're shouting that, they can hear you say go ahead, but they can move on forward without you, or you can attempt to climb.
I'll go walk towards the back of the lighthouse to go investigate.
All right.
There's some stone steps right there.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably climb up to the first level here, but getting up with the sea wash on the like very slick volcanic kind of surface, it's gonna be a bit of a climb. You're a swimmer, not a climber.
Look to the right. One step, and then stair steps up to the right of the pole, don't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it does sort of, but we'll say it's going to take you a minute, so that you're going to be a bit behind the rest of the group. But is anybody else following Detective Easter? You said to the back of the building, Detective Easter?
Yeah, there was mention of some stuff, like maybe back there last time when we were talking to the bar and the brute, so I was just going to see what was back there.
Sure. Is
I'm
anybody...
gonna venture with the detective as well.
Gotcha. Anybody else going up, Detective Easter?
Yeah.
Blib, you looking for Stony, or you going up?
No, I'll wait for stuff. I'll go find. I'm gonna go. No.
You're breaking up pretty bad. You're going to go do what?
I'm gonna see if Stony needs help.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of peer over the edge, and you see Stony sort of slowly weaving his way up to the top, and Nick sort of joins you. Says, so, fish person, huh?
It's
Like, were you always a fish person? Or is this like a new thing? Or...
I've always been. I always will.
So you've always had that, and he sort of opens and closes his hand like a lobster claw.
I raise my other hand and look at it, like utterly confused.
And then he sort of like, and these, and he like points up at your like eye stalk things. He says, those have always been... He's like, I've traveled quite a long ways and a great many planes, and I've never quite seen something like yourself. I'm just curious what you classify yourself as.
I completely understand. I am quite breathtaking. Many hearts broke on my.
Broken hearts. Yeah, I imagine there's lots of broken hearts and blind people that you leave in your wake. But what do you classify yourself as?
Feel blind, kind of known for that.
Yeah. Because your followers are Kuatoa, but you seem to be something else completely.
Amazing is typically how I would. Oh,
Yeah, that's a way to describe what you are, but to classify what you are, is that the race that you are? Is you're the amazing race?
right.
Sounds kind of racy, like kind of uppity.
About what you're.
You must have sea salt
You're
still in
breaking up bad, Josh.
your mouth, because I can't understand a word you're saying.
Here.
Nope, definitely can't.
Can you hear me now? No, no.
But as the conversation sort of stalls, Stony, you make it up to the top, and Nick sort of greets you and says, "All right, it's about time." I don't think he was ever going to answer my question, or at least he was trying to. I'll give him credit where credit's due, but just couldn't get the words together, I guess. Rest of the party's up.
Thanks for waiting on me.
Yeah, the rest of the party's up behind the building there, but yeah, I guess we got nothing else to do. We might as well join them.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. The ocean is unbelievably loud on my side.
Is it?
Aaron Christian down.
I'll be honest, I couldn't even hear the ocean until Josh said something about it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
were
really
standing
quiet.
right next to the ocean.
Is that better, Josh?
Pretty loud.
Yeah,
I never hear the music you play, so I don't.
but now I'm echoing.
Are you on your phone?
Yeah, but I'm no different than what I. Let me exit out and come back.
I don't
I think
understand.
Josh needs an iMac for $400.
Yeah, no. I don't understand why it would be so different for him. Like nobody else can hear the ocean, but he can. You could. Was it?
It's kind of dude.
Can you get Discord on Xbox?
I wish.
I don't. Yeah, they don't support it. But as you guys approach the back of the lighthouse, you see a well to your right. You see sort of some more busted crates and barrels and such, broken rocks, things that have fallen off the lighthouse, sort of stacked up. You see some more ugly-looking trees that have been stripped of most of their leaves, and sort of look out over the back of the island there, and you see what looks like to be some sort of humanoid, like shambling around in the dirt or the sand over there.
Well, well, well. What do we have here?
Oh my God.
It appears to be a well.
It was so dumb. I ignored what you said. My brain blocked it out. I was like, what is he saying? Why did he say that?
It fits well with Detective Easter taking stuff too literal sometimes.
But you sounded great there, Josh. Very clear.
I'm gonna shine my flashlight on the humanoid over there.
You
It
shine.
was very subtle, like just.
You shine your light over there on the humanoid, and its head quickly kind of turns at you, and you see two beady, glowy eyes, like the light reflects off of them. And you can see that it's completely motionless. It is essentially a statue, just waiting for you to make a move.
Who goes there?
So as you shout, it sort of scurries off and drops down below where you can no longer see it.
Did anybody get a good look at the creature? Or did anybody recognize the creature?
As a little dog.
I did not, but could we maybe look in the well to see if maybe there's something in there?
Sure.
Well,
But of course.
So you go to the well and you sort of peer over and down, and you sort of hold your ear to it. It's dark, but you can hear a bit of like the wind going over it, and you can hear what sounds like big echoey sort of like water down below.
All right, it appears that it is in fact a well.
Well, I'm sure we can lower the bucket down and draw some water and confirm if you had any suspicions that it wasn't a well.
There is in
I
fact
would-
a bucket there.
I would like to try that.
All right. Go ahead and lower the bucket down, so you sort of approach down.
well, hold up. Do we want to put something in it to see if it gets taken?
I just want to see if we could scoop anything up. In fact there's water down there.
Oh. I guess that's how they're actually supposed to work, huh?
Mm-hmm. So it takes a bit of a like oomph to get put behind it for it to sort of break free. Like this hasn't been used in a while, but it still works. It's just wood and rope. It's very creaky and squeaky, but you manage to reel the bucket down. Probably takes a good minute to get it all the way at the bottom, but you can see that the rope kind of goes slack a little bit, and you can see that it's moving, so the bucket's like hit the water. It's like floating. So you can pull it back up. You pull it all the way back up, another minute to sort of pull it up. It's got some more weight to it this time, and you sort of peer into the bucket, and it's not fresh water, but it is seawater.
How could seawater have gotten in here?
As you can see, there is water there.
You sort of rummage around the bottom of it a little bit more, and there's like a bit of a film on the water. Like it's, I don't know, it's almost like when like fat builds up in a pot or a pan, right? Like on the top of a soup or something. Like it.
Stony, Blibdoopalip, can you come over here and help us with our water? Can you identify what's going on here?
As an expert in dirty water, I can tell you that when it's doing that, you don't want to put your hands in it.
What are we looking for?
Soul was using a stick, thankfully.
May find a floater in that.
Nothing could have happened this century, guys. It's just Punville.
But it does have a rancid smell to it. It does not smell good.
Are you saying this well is tainted with something?
It seems to be not well.
It's damn it, Kobe!
Let me go back and make sure you put like a tally as we say.
Blib.
I was gonna say that, but I chose not to, thinking that you guys were gonna give me crap for that.
Oh man.
So you can choose to pour the bucket out or like sift around in it a little bit more if anybody's curious, but that's
I'm going to pour it back in and suggest that we do not drink from it.
all right. You pour the water out back down into the hole. You hear it sort of big echoey splash down at the bottom, and sort of goes for a minute and finally levels out. No more echo, and there's some tiny bit of Blibdoopalip that's like, I wonder if there was gold in that bucket.
Anyway.
Yeah,
maybe
did
should
we time how long
explore that
the
weird
water
creepy
took
place.
to hit the water?
You didn't really time it all that well, but if you had to guess, it was a good like 3 seconds or so.
Ooh, only 3 seconds. So, just trying to figure out how deep, or how high technically this water is in this well.
We could measure the rope.
It sounds like a artificer's equation.
Well, I mean, I'm no
Yeah, I'm gonna
genius.
just throw out the rope ideas. I'm like, well,
I'm no
I-
Do you have a real degree? You keep getting it out of this whole doing your jab.
I don't trust the rope on the tail.
Nick sort of says, what do you need to know how far down it goes? Clearly it's stanky ass water. What do you want to know how far the stanky ass water is from here?
I look at the rest of the group and I kind of think, I think Nick's right. What else should we be thinking about and not making up math equations for ourselves?
Nick, do you know of any creatures that inhabit this island, like the one across the way?
I can't imagine much survives out here, to be honest. I mean, they've got to make it past the squid that we ran into, and then there's not really a lot of food sources on this island, maybe aside from the birds. So, I don't know. Whatever caught your flashlight there might have been a cat or something. I mean,
You don't think some of those experiments are still alive, do you?
Experiments? Oh, from the tower? Well, we all know the tower was destroyed by a meteor, so no, I don't think anything could survive a meteor strike.
I want to go investigate where we saw the eyes.
All right.
Let's
You
go.
approach.
My shield and trident up.
As soon as you cusp the top of the hill, you see another one of the creatures sort of in the dark behind some gravestones sort of turn and become statue-like yet again There's some birds on the gravestones. They don't seem to be disturbed by this creature that's down below, but it is definitely like hunched over and humanoid in form on all fours.
Hey, friend.
I was going to join up there with Sony as well.
Sure.
Yeah, me too. We're all going.
All right.
Yeah, we're going as a group.
So as
Oh, guys, don't be scared.
as you guys approach as a group, you see it slowly start to backpedal and try and put more distance between you and it. And it sort of realizes that it reaches to the edge, and then it starts to sprint along the edge of the cliff face while not going in the water, making sure it maintains its largest distance away from you. And it sort of runs just out of sight of you again. You hear some additional scurrying as maybe more of them sort of trudge through the sand, but then you start to hear wet footprints as they hit the volcanic surface of the island.
Did the creature leave a footprint nearby?
Yeah, so you guys can kind of go down to investigate here. At this point, they'll be a little bit further up. But as you go down, all of you, Detective Easter, you make a point to pay attention to the tracks it left behind, and they appear to be human hands and feet in the sand.
Interesting. It appears that creature at least had humanoid hands and feet. What kind of spell or mischief has gone on this island to cause some sort of humanoids to be running around here like dogs?
You do see the graves, and the graves have kind of been overrun with sand over time. The rising tides on the island have caused these to sort of be buried. All the text has long since been washed away, so now they're just...
Who bury somebody in sand? They're just gonna get washed up.
Yeah, you get the sense that these weren't buried in sand necessarily, but the sand over time has been dragged onto them. So like,
Gotcha.
they were buried on maybe a more solid surface at some point, but like I said, the rising and lowering of the tides with the two moons has brought sand up onto these sort of patches, and it's just sort of become stagnant here.
Do I recognize any names, any missing persons?
No, like I was saying, the gravestones are ancient. Like, they're extremely
Gotcha.
worn down. Most are cracked or destroyed, barely there at all. But the text on them appears to have been written in common at some point. But
Can I cast mending on whichever one I think is in the best shape?
mending, sure.
Yeah, to see if it brings back any lettering.
Let me see the verbiage on that. Repairs a single break or tear to an object you touch, such as broken chain, link, two halves of broken key, torn crack. Yeah. No longer than 1 foot in any dimension, you mend it, leaving no trace of the former damage. Physically repair, magic, or construct. That's a cool spell. Sure. So, the biggest gravestone, the one that is in the best condition, you sort of put your hand on and you cast mending. There's sort of this energy that flows through the rock, and it like seals up the big crack at the top and the bottom, and you can see that some of the like dirt and grime is washed away from the text, and you can see that it says "Here lies," and then it gives a date dating about 100 years ago. So these graves are at least a century old.
These graves are about 100 years old, but I can't make out any names.
Well, thank you, Madam Blib, to pull up that. That at least lets us know that these gravestones have been here quite a long time.
The crow on the tombstone doesn't seem to be phased by you. It's not scared of humanoids, or clearly wasn't afraid of the creature that scurried away from here. But
does it have a band on it?
It does not.
I'm petting it.
You can see that it's kind of reluctant and it kind of flares up its wings a little bit, like it's gonna fly off, but then you sort of gently pet the back of its head and it doesn't move, and its wings sort of go back to its side.
You know, we used to be friends with a crow. What was his name? Nobody?
You were friends with a crow.
Yeah, that. No, Billy Banger had a pet crow. Nobody remember that name?
And did Billy ever receive packages from this crow? Or perhaps messages?
I don't know. I just know he had a crow. Do we know the name of the crow?
The rest of the group appears to be oddly silent. The only person
Never
who
heard
would
of it.
probably know is maybe Tyrell.
I do remember a conversation that we had, Madame Libdupult, before I had earned your trust, or at least partially trust that you've given to me, that you debated the name with Ranger Steve, who is curiously MIA, and a name for the crow came up as Coconut.
That's it. I knew it was a fruit.
Was the crow useful for anything? Like maybe counting? Was it a counting crow?
I don't know much about the crow people. It wasn't my pet. I just knew he had one.
Crows are quite useful, but recently a lot have been used for nefarious reasons, including secret messages and carrying parcels of drugs secretly across vast plains.
The crow sort of caws, spreads its wings, and flies away.
No, not crow.
Oh, curious.
You got the sense that it heard you talking about it. Much like when you talk about a dog or a cat without mentioning its name, it still picks up on the cues and realizes that attention has been drawn to itself.
But yes, I believe that crows were used to deliver drugs in an organization that Billy Banger may have been involved in.
What was that organization?
I can't get into too many of the details. The investigation is ongoing.
I just thought it was unique that he had a crow. Found it.
That is quite unique. I wonder if anybody from the organization lived in this tower. We heard of an old wizard. I wonder if it could be the wizard Coconut.
Wait, so there's a crow that's named Coconut and a wizard named Coconut?
Well, that's one of the aliases that he goes by. You might also know him as Heisenbro or the Big Wiz.
He's like, Nick sort of chimes up, says, "Oh yeah, I've heard of this guy. I think I partied with him once or twice."
You'll have to write down all the details.
Maybe that was Cocoa Puffs, not Coconut. I can't. Things get a little hazy.
It seems to slip your mind the same way that you seem to slip on these rocks as we got to.
Okay, Detective Easter. Another zinger.
Sunburn.
Woo, man. Ooh, yeah. Hot. Damn. Okay, well, moving on. What about this lighthouse? Something.
Yes.
Distraction.
We should move on. Should we circle around it and check for any openings that are not directly in the entrance? Sometimes it's better to go into a side door.
Yeah, seems like standard procedure.
Nothing like a backdoor entrance.
So you sort of make your way to the top. You guys all sort of follow along, just using Detective
I
Easter
purposely
as
didn't say back door because I thought that might be too sensitive for Blip Duple. Too soon.
too
triggering.
soon. But yes, you sort of make your way around the building, sort of seeing more fallen rubble and rocks and things like that. You make your way around. You see some crates stacked up from behind. Ignore
Is there
the
light coming.
Ignore the orange glow.
Okay.
That looks like an
Ignored.
entrance to me. It's blasted open.
It is ignored.
The orange glow is from a light inside you can't yet see, so it's not an indication of there being a secret entrance. I did my best to cover it.
Do lights kind of go through the outside of these walls sometimes?
They do, like that's just a
Yeah.
light that's inside here. Like even
Okay,
the
yeah.
walls here, you can see there's like holes in it, so it's hard to conceal the fact that there's lights inside.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
just to role play there is no visible light from the outside here, so you do see crates and they are stacked up rather high. They're big
This would
crates.
be oddly suspicious if there were any lights in here, but since not, I assume they're just standard issue crates. Let's carry on.
They are indeed. You sort of continue around. You all sort of look up and notice that there are large trees, much like the ones around the island, with tall roots, and the trees sort of branch up to the top, almost right up to where the first sort of tier is, the first ledge. And as you guys are sort of coming around the edge here, Detective Easter, you spot a cat on top of a crate. It sort of turns, sees you, and skitters off down past your vision. As the cat sort of draws your attention, you sort of peer over the bottom of the dock here, like the deck, I guess, in the front, and you notice a hooded figure standing in front of a door, the front door. Get the rest of you guys over here. There really needs to be a group move function. That's the one downfall of this. But
And you can't do your personalized token.
Yeah.
Unique characters, Joni Gross.
I haven't made one for Stony yet. I think it was because we just determined last time that he...
Yeah, that really sucks. So there's not like an F1 button that you can hold to highlight everybody and move them as a group?
As far as I know, the only thing you can do is highlight multiple objects in build mode, but you can't do it for tokens.
Gotcha.
But it's honestly because the program's meant to run like all of you would have.
We would move our tokens around.
Right. Like you.
Oh.
So like
Really? So we could all log onto this and move our own tokens?
Yeah. So I would essentially lock you guys in, and then like during combat and stuff, you would use your arrow keys and you would move around like this.
And you could only go like if you had each space is 5 feet of movement or something like that.
Right.
That's cool.
And then you've got like all your stats and everything. Like you would have
Oh, that's
all
pretty
these.
No, shit. Wow. So us not all being on computers makes it where we can't do that.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't expect you guys to all have computers and buy the software and like.
Well, I hear there's a pretty good deal on a MacBook.
I'll let you know
We're
if
in the
that falls
latest and
through.
greatest.
Tell him I'll give him 401.
Okay. But yes, as you guys all sort of Scooby-Doo up to this ledge and one at a time, like peek up over the ledge of the deck here out front of the tower, the lighthouse, you see that there's a figure standing in front of the door, and he has his back to the sort of island where you came up. He doesn't appear to be knocking on the door. There's more of the signs that you saw on the way up, the ones saying turn around, turn back, don't, all the warnings, just hundreds and hundreds of signs staked up all the way to the door. You could see even an additional sign sort of posted like on the wall itself, but he's not touching the door, he's not moving. It's just a cloaked, hooded figure.
Dare someone to go take his hood off.
Well, why don't we approach this tactically? Why doesn't part of the group circle around and the other part will confront him directly here from the side?
So yeah,
That way, if there's any trouble, we will be covered from multiple angles.
you can see here that it drops down even a step further, and you could easily sneak sort of behind as long as you weren't just completely obnoxious.
Any other suggestions?
Nope.
Nick sort of just shakes his head and shrugs.
Well, I volunteer to approach directly from this side. Who would like to sneak around?
Nick sort of motions that he's staying put right here.
Okay, so Nick and I shall approach directly.
He kind of
Is
gives
everyone
a
else-
quick like hand across the throat. He says, "No, I'm staying right here." Like he's crouching down and staying behind the dock. He's like, "I'm not
I
approaching."
see. Nick is going to shit his pants while the heroes of Nicantes get to work. So, who is going to flank and who is going to approach directly?
Approach directly.
I'll defecate with Nick.
So Nick sort of goes down one extra level and like hand motions Tyrell to join him.
Can I use a cantrip?
Sure.
All right, I want to use minor illusion.
Okay.
And create like footsteps approaching him on his other side, so he turns away from us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is there a
It just has a range of 30 feet.
Okay, yeah, you're easily within range.
Create an image of an object, components. Just need a bit of fleece or I guess clothing from whatever I'm wearing.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So you cast those steps and you say you want him to go like over behind him to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The way he turns the other way.
they're like loud footsteps, right? Like intentionally to gather his attention. So yeah, as the footsteps sort of appear behind him, the creaks of the boards, you realize it'd be hard to stealth up on him on the boards of the deck. But the footsteps you create draw his attention, and he actually comes down off the top step, and now his back is completely to you as he sort of, you see him scanning the ground for these footsteps that he heard.
Seeing that he's distracted, I'm going to try to approach quietly from behind, just assuming that others will follow me or stick to the plan of trying to,
Sure.
flank from the other side.
Give me a stealth check, Detective Easter.
Alrighty.
I'm game to follow as well.
All right. You
Let's
go ahead
see
and give me
here.
one as well then. And
As long as I don't roll
Stony,
like
you said you
shit.
were going with him, right? That was part of the plan?
Yeah.
All right. All three of you
I
guys,
kinda
give
rolled
me
like
a stealth check here.
Shit, a little bit. I got a total of 13.
I also rolled a 13.
Stony?
Hold on. I need to see if I can't remember if I have stealth or not. As a skill. I don't. Okay. 15.
All right. Stony, you managed to be quiet, but are you Sailor Sun or are you Soul right now?
I'm Soul.
Soul and Detective Easter, you sort of step up, and Detective Easter, the weight of your Dragonborn is enough to make the boards creak, and because this figure is already sort of searching,
Alert.
for
Yep.
things, you see he sort of like puts his hands out and like realizes that something's behind him, and you see him start to squat, and he picks up the bottom of his robe and he bends over, and you just see two pale ass cheeks as he's mooning you. And
Yeah, I'm gonna shine my flashlight on him.
you shine your flashlight on him, and you realize that he's onto his like front hands now, like fully bent over, and he sort of brings his hands around and pulls his butt cheeks apart, and where his anus should be, there is a giant eyeball. And you see he's starting to take steps, like going backwards towards you.
I'm going to sprint and kick his ass.
All right, give me an initiative check then, or an initiative roll. Sorry.
Alrighty. 11.
11. Everybody, go ahead and give me an initiative.
Like, I want to think in like real life, there's no fucking way you would sprint towards that.
Someone mooning, and there's like I see like, I'm assuming, it's a fake eyeball. There's some kids mooning me. You get mooned as a detective all the time. You got to go kick someone in the ass for that. That just happens. These damn
One-eyed
kids.
purple monster.
So starting at the top here, if everybody's rolled their initiative, I'll just start and you guys shout out when you get. So 20, 19.
Yep. 20.
Nice.
Is it everybody or just us three?
Everybody. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10,
Detective Easter.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Tony.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Jared, Josh.
Jared, Josh, what'd you guys roll for initiative?
Oh, I
Josh shot themselves.
didn't realize that we were part of it. I thought.
Yeah.
12. 17. Sorry, misread.
Yeah, I missed that too. Just a 20?
Yeah.
8.
Okay. All right. Soul, you're up first. So you see Detective Easter take the first step, and you can tell that he is moving forward with intent. But you were on the jump first. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna sit back and watch? Are you gonna react in a different way?
I would like to. I don't know. I'm gonna sit back and watch.
All right. Are you gonna change your position at all, or are you just gonna stay where you're at?
Just instantly kills him. Just some kid.
I'm gonna be in a stance of just readiness in case I need to use my own
All right.
staff.
So you prepare a counter, essentially. All right.
Yeah.
Tug, you're sort of down, so you can't really see what's happening, but you can see that based on the body language of those three up above that they've been spotted, and Detective Easter is making a move to attack whatever it is that's in front of him. What do you want to do?
Remember, you haven't seen it yet.
Dark, or is that just the is it real early morning? Are we in a cave? Why are we?
It's dark. It's you have entered the second day of the Epoch of Eventide, the long night. So it is dark perpetually. The sky is slightly cloudy. There is a bit of drizzle, in addition to the ocean sort of mist and the cold wind. But yes, it is dark. I just assume those of you that have light are casting it at this point, but I kind of illuminated your characters just for the sake of the...
Yeah, I'm using my flashlight whenever I have a free hand to do that.
Okay.
But we'll say you have sort of one action here. So it's more of a reaction, so... So Sailor Sun or Soul prepared a defensive action, essentially. You'll have enough time to get in position or get eyesight on it or prepare a spell or something, but...
What I was about to say, I just want to move, I just want to jump up there kind of next to that crate, I guess. I want to use my 2 actions to get to where I can see what's going on.
Sure, yeah, so you sort of crawl up and peer around this crate just enough to see what's happening, and there is what appears to be a man in a robe with his butt cheeks spread on all fours with an eyeball for an anus, dog running backwards to Detective Easter.
Well, that starfish is staring at me.
Jesus.
Detective Easter, you are up.
Yeah, I'm sprinting at this guy, and I'm going to go try to kick him in the ass, and then go from there.
All right, give me an attack roll.
Oh, man, this is going to be big. Okay, so this is unarmed. I got a total of 28.
All right, go ahead and roll damage.
6.
All right. You sort of rear back and give it a big kick. You sort of catch it right, in its grundle, and it sort of flips into the air like it's a dragonborn kick, so it's a good kick. You see the robe fly off of this pale human, and it sort of lands on the ground. You see it on its back, sort of sprawling and scrambling to get back onto all fours, and you see in its dash where his head is, its face, where it should be, turns to see you, and there's just complete blank. It's just skin on his face. There's no nose, there's no eyes or ears, mouth, nothing. It's just completely amorphous, and you see that.
I'm gonna move to try to arrest this thing.
All right. So after the attack, you sort of move up to try and grapple this thing. Go ahead and give me a grapple, like a
Oh, nat 20.
nat 20. All right.
Yep.
Where do you?
It's contagious.
How are you
Why do you wanna
going to
So
wrangle
it has
this thing?
arms, right?
It does. It has like every feature of a humanoid except a face. So it's got 2 arms, legs, a head, a torso. It's just a naked
Yeah.
human being, other than the fact that it has a eyeball for the anus.
So I'm
Which-
grabbing one wrist,
All right.
and then I'm grabbing like at the bicep, above the elbow, and I'm twisting back to put an arm behind what I assume is his back there, and then I'm pressing into him with my knee. I'm grabbing that other arm and taking him and cuffing him. So
All right.
you're under arrest, buddy.
So you've definitely kind of like hog-tied him, so to speak, and he's like flailing around the ground, just like shuddering as much as he can. Doesn't understand what it is that's around his wrists. Like you can see his butt cheeks sort of opening and closing, like blinking almost, to try and like get an idea of what's happening. But his face, so to speak, is like up facing the sky because he is technically face down, but his butt is up facing you. So this eye
Yeah,
is just sort of blinking at you.
Okay, pulling his cuffs back, so behind his back, like pulling his hands back,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna push him forward from his back, and I'm pushing him back towards the group.
All right. So you sort of push him, and so you just handcuffed his hands, right, not his feet?
Yeah, and so now I'm trying to walk him. So basically, I just pulled his hands up behind his back, so hopefully they're less useful, and then I'm trying to push onto his back to push him forward towards the group.
Yeah. So he's sort of getting pushed towards the group, and as you're doing that, it's going to be Stoney's turn.
Okay, I'm gonna meet him halfway and just give him a good slam with my shield.
Go ahead and roll an attack roll.
This is strength, right?
Yes.
17.
All right. You knock him prone onto the sand.
Mm.
And he, again, kind of scurries, and he's trying to get up onto his feet with his hands handcuffed behind his back.
Careful there, Stoney. We now have one handcuffed here. We need to interrogate him.
Well, yeah, you should probably tie up his feet. He's gonna take off.
Tyrell, you've got a reaction here. What do you want to do? You're sort of down there with Nick just peering over the edge.
I was gonna kind of talk to Nick. I guess I'm gonna like talk about head up your ass.
He says, "How come you never make these jokes when more people are around?" That was a good one, Tyrell.
He can't even technically see what's going on, can he?
Yeah, you guys like it's like before. You can peek up Scooby Doo over the edge, kind of see what's going on.
I heard Scooby Doo. Other than that, I'm happy to wait it out.
Sure.
I'm not sure.
Nick decides to do the same.
Well, for the rest of Stoney's action, can you make sure that he doesn't go anywhere? Stoney, help me contain him until we can, like you said, tie him up with the rope.
Stoney kind of used his reaction, same with Tyrell and Nick
Okay.
here, because he used the full shield bash to knock him to the ground. So it's going to be the yokai's turn, and I need you to make a reactionary saving throw as he's going to try and run away.
Okay. What kind of saving throw is this?
So reaction is just a 20. I don't think there's any modifier on it.
Okay, well then I got a 12.
All right. He sort of makes it up to his knees and makes it and jumps down to a level and lands on his feet and sort of bends over again, spreads his butt cheeks to like scan the area, sees Tyrell and Nick, and runs farther down another 2 steps. He's still within sight of you guys, but he's fast.
So he got up from being prone
Mhm.
and then took off.
Yes, he is very quick, but doesn't seem to be a threat necessarily. But yes, it is back to the top. So Soul, it's your reaction. Like I said, Detective Easter's the only one we're kind of moving here with purpose. Everybody else is kind of reacting to what's going on. So you got one sort of reactionary moment here to do something if you want.
Can we just ask who it is?
You can shout out to it if you want, yeah.
Who are you?
So as you sort of take a step forward and shout out, there's no answer from the creature, the humanoid. Tug, you're on the other side of the crate here. You got another reaction.
Can I cast web?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna cast range of 60 foot. So I want to cast it. It's a 20-foot cube, so it kind of basically like right at him.
Sure. And it's a ranged spell attack, so you just need to make a roll. See if it breaks his armor class, so to speak.
12.
It does. So, is there a constitution check or something? I need to see what level of ensnared I become.
No, I'm pretty have their own card. That it helps in your right one. Each creature that starts its turn in the web or enters them during its turn must make a dexterity saving throw. On failed save, the creature is restrained as long as it remains in the web.
So it just has to... It's a succeed or fail thing. 16. So it... You said it. What was the check? Does 16 beat it?
My check is 16. What do you mean? My roll was 12.
Right, that breaks the armor class, so your ranged spell attack, like... But
yeah,
you said...
At the top...
You said at its turn it can make a dexterity saving throw to see if it can escape the web?
At the start of its turn, it can make a dexterity save.
Gotcha. Okay, so you've ensnared it to the tree, yeah, so you sort of send that web out, and you could see it sort of stuck between the ground and the rocks and the tree itself. It's like thrashing around in this spider's web to no avail. Detective Easter, you see this happen, and you've got your 2 actions to use here.
Yeah, I'm going to sprint over to it.
All right.
And so it's ensnared in the webs, right?
It is. You're careful not to become too ensnared as well. But yes, it's still currently thrashing around.
Yeah, I'm going to pull out my silver... No, in this case, I'm not going to pull out the silver sword. I'm going to pull out my baton, because it's... just seems like somebody had moved me here. I don't know quite what this thing is yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pulling out my baton. Stop! In the name of the law.
It doesn't...
Identify yourself.
Sure. It doesn't seem to, stop or continues to thrash at the same sort of rhythm, just trying everything it can to get away. It doesn't speak. It doesn't acknowledge that you're speaking to it. It doesn't seem to hear. It's just full intent is on escaping.
Well, then I'm going to try to circle around to the other side to stop it from running away this way. That way if it feels like it has to run back towards the group.
Can I go down there?
When it's your turn.
Why?
Huh?
Oh, wait. Never mind. Well, yeah, was it my turn or was that a...
So I'm giving everyone else sort of a reaction. Detective Easter here was the one that was most forward with things, so I'm giving him his full actions.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm not going to attack, so ultimately that will stop right now. Mostly I want this guy, subdued.
Sure.
Zoo Warriors, come help me subdue this man. Stony, we need your help as well.
It is Stoney's turn. Stoney, you hear Detective Easter's call. You're welcome to join down there if you'd like.
Yep, I want to get down there, and I want to use my divine sense to tell whether it's a celestial, fiend, or undead. If it's none of those, it's fine, but if it's one of those 3 things, I can detect it.
So it is not undead. It is not a celestial being. And what was the third one?
Fiend.
A fiend? I do not believe this classifies as a fiend either.
Okay.
Tyrell, you hear the same cry from
Hi.
Detective Easter. You running
Yeah.
down there?
I need to get down there because I'm hoping everyone's following because I have information for everyone. So hopefully we could all be in a group and get her quick.
All right. You run down there, but everybody else is lagging behind. But you have time to share your information.
Oh, I can wait for the other guys too, unless they can hear me.
I mean, yeah, you're all in pretty close proximity. I mean, if it's
Okay, cool.
if it's urgent, then yeah, share
I
it.
think so. Hey guys, I think we're chasing a wild goose, maybe literally. This doesn't appear to have any kind of intelligent mind at all. If we think back to what Darcy told us down at the dock, or myself, basically what was happening at that lighthouse was human experiments, potentially with other organisms, other beings. I don't know if it's quite homunculus level, but it could be. So essentially, I don't think this thing is of any intelligence or importance to us. I think we just need to get up to the lighthouse. I think we can leave this thing alone. We're gonna find more.
Can we save this thing? Can it be turned back into a human?
I have some knowledge in if it was a homunculus, let's say, which I don't think this quite qualifies, but if it was, it would require quite the spell level to return it, including also with a homunculus. There's something of a ring of homunculi that would also be required, which would be quite rare.
Could we knock it out for you to investigate?
No.
So go ahead and drop
Oh,
initiative. This thing is still thrashing around in the web, but
I'm going to attempt to get my while it's caught in there, and if it's not moving, I'm going to get my handcuffs back. Then.
you're gonna have a tough time getting him back without being in the web.
Tyrell, can we use your rope to make sure that he does not escape? I want to get those handcuffs back. We may need them again if we run into more creatures.
I thought we were rolling initiative.
No, I said I'm initiative's dropped, so he's.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was like, this thing's about to attack. Okay.
It failed its last check, so it's gonna be in that web. But
We might need a rope to get up towards the lighthouse. I don't know. No, I think it's.
You can still use your rope. Is it not magical? Do you not control whether it binds or does not bind?
Oh no, you just want to get your handcuffs. Let me get my rope back.
That's all I want is my handcuffs back.
Oh, okay.
So you
just to keep the creature bound while I move through the webbing to get the handcuffs back, and then you can unbound this creature if you do not believe there's anything we can do to help it.
I really don't think so.
It's in like a 20-foot by 20-foot cube of webs.
I'm going to be slicing, just cutting through until I get there, I guess.
We'll see you later, Detective Easter.
do you send the rope in to wrap it up?
I don't know now because I think I'm gonna lose my rope. I think your handcuffs.
Another rope?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we don't use it very much, so maybe not.
I have a backup rope if you would like to turn it magical. If you happen to lose yours, you can have mine.
You had a rope this whole time?
Mine is not magical. It's just 50 foot of ordinary rope.
Well, if you have any corn extract, because that's what I'm missing in order to make it magical.
Well, there's those barrels back there, or perhaps the Bard and the Brute have some corn. Either way, if we lose the rope, I shall repay you my rope plus corn extra.
How important are these handcuffs to you?
They are
Not corn. Horn.
horn extract.
Oh yeah, porn. It's porn.
Well, I would like to get my handcuffs back. There's no reason, one, to leave this creature running around without the use of its hands if we're not going to use it anymore. And two, we may need them.
Do you think the webs will hold until we get back here?
So
I do not believe so.
you see that it's stopped thrashing. It's sort of accepted its fate at this point. It's like a rabbit that's been caught, right? Like it's tuckered out.
Try pulling its butt cheeks back and communicating with it.
Madam Blibdu, pull up. You should do that.
I mean, the webs. We got a bunch of webs in front of us.
Well, yeah, but
Okay, can we cast some fire on the webs and maybe they'll get rid of them?
If you want.
I mean,
Okay.
probably gonna burn the poor thing to death.
Yes, I was assuming that I would just cut my way into the webs
I don't
and
think
make it back
be successful.
towards the handcuff.
Try it.
You could do that
Hey,
too.
poor guy, we're here to help you. Douse them in fire.
Well,
Yes, if we can avoid killing, that would be great. We don't have to kill everything that we run into.
I just use my staff to knock the dude out so we can get this stupid rope hang out of the way.
You
Where do you think his brain's at? In his butt or in his head?
He doesn't have any.
Nick is just sort of sitting on the step behind you. He's just got this
And we're
devilish
just
grin
how
on
do I
his
get- how do I
face.
get my handcuffs?
He's just like, I've seen a lot, but this is one of the most interesting things I've ever seen. I really do hope we meet up with the bard again so he can recount this story. And he just sort of chuckles.
You know, this seems like the perfect job for my little friend here. And I open up my coat, and my little stoat comes out.
Yes. The stoat knows exactly what to do, goes and
Okay.
retrieves
Professor Bojangles, please go and retrieve my handcuffs.
the stoat, like a spy in a movie, dodges those webs like they were laser beams, grabs the handcuffs, takes the little key that you gave him, unlocks the handcuffs. You can see that the hands suddenly like go free, but only enough until they hit another web and get caught, and it starts to like thrash a little bit more again. But the stoat makes its way deftly through the
And I give
the
him a
webs
little
and-
bit of the swordfish that I had stowed away for
yes.
him to nibble on. So
But you've got your handcuffs back.
thank
and-
you, Professor Bojangles. I guess we don't have to worry about your rope or knocking him out at all. Shall we continue to the lighthouse, or do we want to try to investigate this jackass here?
Nah, I'm done. I'm walking to the door of the White House.
Let's go.
All right. You sort of approach the door, Soul. You're the first one up. Is anybody else staying behind, or are you all behind Soul?
I'll follow.
All right.
What did Blib just roll? Ooh, what did Nick just roll? Oh.
just hitting the dice there.
I was trying to. A 20. Ooh.
Funny.
But yes, you guys are. Oh, that he's not coming with you. That's for sure.
Mr. Halfface.
But yes, you're at the door. So a little bit of light shed on the signs. You see lots of "Do Not Enter" signs. The doors are a step up from where you're at. It looks like
Including one icy hot sign.
yes, an icy hot sign. And
Nice.
it looks like the stairs have actually been like broken away and are not there. So you'd have to like it's up to your waist, right? You'd have to like kind of climb up or use the door knockers to pull yourself up. But it's up to you guys how you want to proceed here. So.
Let's just pull the door open.
All right. You walk up and grab on to the handle. I need you
Guys, be
to
ready.
make a check for me.
No, what do you know?
Yeah, I need you to make a. Where is my? Usually I have. There it is.
A curse-proof check. Are you
No,
cursed
no,
for life? or
not a curse. I need you to make a survival check.
Last time we had to do that at the door, it's because it opened really fast and Joni was there.
Yeah, 12.
12. Okay. You are thrown back straight from the door, and if Detective Easter were not directly behind you to catch you, you would have probably been flown like off of the island. There's just a huge like force that shoots out from the door, throws you into Detective Easter like a missile, and it's enough to even knock him and you back over the ledge, and you guys sort of land on your backs on the ground, sort of just missing a sign.
Do we have to take any damage?
I need you. I need to roll a 1d10 plus 10.
Whew.
16. Take 16 damage, Soul.
Do I take any damage from the missile of soul hitting me?
You're gonna take the 6 that I rolled instead of the plus 10.
Okay. Ugh. Soul, it looks like this party is not meant for you, and I'm gonna blow dust into her nose.
About time. Why do I feel like I just got hit in the head?
It seems your other half was being too cavalier, and the island struck back.
Probably got really annoyed with someone in the party and wanted to just leave their ass. I mean,
But
whatever. Let's keep going forward. Thanks for whatever you did.
So you guys sort
I
of
will hop back up, yeah.
yeah make your way back up, but the door is not open. The door is still closed.
Can anyone detect if there's any magic a part of this door? It seems that perhaps a force of the island, but I don't know if this door has been booby-trapped with magic.
Nick sort of chuckles and says, I've determined through magical abilities that this door is in fact enchanted. Now, it may be difficult to miss, but after Soul flew back about 40 feet and knocked Detective Easter there over the edge, I think it's safe to say that, yes, it is in fact certifiably imbued with some sort of magical spell.
I assume with your insight there, you would have a way to bypass it.
You just need a simple dispel magic in order to get rid of it, but don't happen to have any on me.
I'm guessing
I
we should
cannot
just to
imagine
make sure and
cast
check again. Let's throw Nick at the door just to check again. Make sure it is magic.
Oh, you could come over here and try.
Oh, I'm good. Just good. Just gang back here.
That's what I thought. You got a little sass on you. Coming from the person who just touched the door, I guess it makes sense that you're a little bitter about the whole thing, but...
Sorry, point of
wasn't me.
clarification there. Soul touched the door. This is Sailor's son.
Sure. Okay. He just sort of looks at you like, did you hit your head really hard?
Do you not know the difference between the two?
He sort of...
Soul and Sailor's son have a multiple personality disorder. It is not something for you to scoff at.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, you are quite the bunch. Quite the... But I... Got it. Noted. Different person. Check that box. All right.
Both are skilled at jumping, though.
Skilled at jumping. Do either one of you happen to have dispel magic? Soul or Sailor Sun?
Nope.
Anybody here? No.
I am not a magic caster.
Tyrell, Tug,
We got rope, though. We can climb up.
Stony, and anybody? Nobody?
Yeah, I guess I'll look to see if there's any alternate ways into the building, like perhaps up.
Yeah, so
I think we passed the tree. We could try and scale the tree on the corner.
you see the trees that do scale up towards the top. You hear Nick sort of sigh. He's like, I did not want to use this here, but fine. He sort of pulls out a scroll from his bag, and he sort of approaches the door, and he holds out the page, puts his hand on it, and forces his hand onto the door, so the paper's in between his hand and the door, and you see the door open. He's like, I did have a dispel magic scroll on me.
Can I ask why you didn't want to use it?
Yeah, trust -1 for me.
Why I didn't want to use it? These things don't come cheap. One-time use items, like a scroll of dispel magic. Do you realize I could have used that on something probably a little bit more worthy? But look.
And what's more worthy than an adventure to understand who killed your father?
Fair point. But if you know
Think you're
anything
just-
about me, I don't really care about my father. Just kind of here for the adventure, which is ultimately why I opened the door for you. So, be my guest. He kind of bows and puts his hand out, like to gesture you in.
I'll move forward with my flashlight out, and I'm going to investigate for traps
All right.
as I go in. Yeah.
You,
So I'll just take my time.
your passive perception, you do exactly that. You perceive that 2 steps in front of you, there is in fact a pit. The boards appear to be replaced. Like the deck in front obviously leads up to the door, but somebody has obviously carved out and tried to funnel you into this bottleneck here with the rubble and the cauldrons and things. So you
And is
notice.
there a safe way around that?
You can sort of climb over the rubble and the stuff on either side. It's not necessarily in your way. It's just inconvenient, meant to sort of, like I said,
Gotcha.
funnel you in. So
I'm going to move towards that, and Zoo Warriors, Stony, watch out for the trap here, and Nick, watch your step as well.
So Nick sort of steps in and says, "Ooh, cozy place." And he sort of steps over the rubble to the side. All you guys kind of enter, being aware of the trap.
I thought you were going to put Tyrell like right into the trap.
No, it's quite a ways down, and there are spikes down there. It would have hurt you real bad. So good thing Detective Easter went first with his passive perception, because. But yes,
That doesn't mean that I need to go through every trap, because I cannot detect magical traps that are out there. So
right.
if anybody else can do that, that might be good to
But
help out those.
stepping inside and sort of surveying the room here, you can see that there's a fire going in a fireplace, which is a little unusual. The fire is low; it's not very well kept, but somebody appeared to be squatting here. There's like a large number of bottles tipped over and full, and otherwise over by a singular chair by the fireplace. You see some of the rubble from the ceiling up above has fallen down. Presumably, these are charred pieces of wood that came from the fire that happened in the upper portions of the lighthouse. There's like a disrupted, dismayed kitchen over to the left underneath the stairs that appear to lead up to the next level. There's manner of crates and boxes and more rubble in the far back corner. Some shelves with items on them. And off to your right, there appears to be like a little makeshift like bed room kind of area. So clearly somebody has been here. There's a big lever in the center of the room. But whatever you guys want to investigate, wherever you want to move around, I'll sort of move your characters around one little square at a time, and you'll tell me how you want to proceed here. No initiative or anything,
I guess first, with the flashlight, any perceived threats that we can identify with the light?
Yeah, so there's no
like actual persons or anything?
Yeah, there's no movement in here whatsoever. Like the air is kind of stagnant. There's like dust hanging in the air. Like it's very musky in here. The fire is like the only sign of any sort of activity alongside the like sort of hobbled together little home shanty sort of bed area. You do notice that there are actually cut logs. Like somebody took the time to cut firewood and put it by the fireplace here. So it's something of intelligence, but it appears to have heard you coming from outside, or when you activated or opened the doors, it ran away. But you don't see any movement inside.
Gotcha. I want to go investigate those potion bottles then.
Sure. So you sort of approach very carefully. Again, your non-magical trap sensing passive perception sees that underneath the bear rug here is a bear trap. You very obviously
I was gonna
avoid it.
alert the group that I found another trap and there might be more.
Sure thing.
Zoo Warriors, Stony, Nick, beware. There might be other traps throughout. Take your time carefully.
There's only like 2 zoo warriors left, so I would keep. like this is just
It
wasted.
is important to call people by their clan name. I am a
We're the
Tundra.
new warriors.
Oh. That kind
I've
of.
heard Zoo Warriors, New Warriors, the Innocents, but the ones that I prefer the most are the Zoo Warriors, Electric Boogaloo 2, and the Heroes of Nikanti. Stony, you are neither. You are new to this squadron here, but sure enough, we might find you to be one of our clan.
How about we are the Clue Warriors?
I can get behind that.
That's how we met Stony.
Sailor's son throwing out some zingers, some real winners.
Oh, I've had time to think about him.
But yes, Stony, there's nothing more important than the clan that you are a part of. Like I said, I am Tundraka. That is the most important clan to me. Secondly, I am a keeper of justice. And now third, I find myself here with this ragtag team. The Heroes of Nikanti have become somewhat of a little clan to me.
How many clans can you attribute yourself to at one time?
You can only serve one major clan. Other ones are minor associations, such as, small friend groups.
Your job is a small friend group?
For your friends?
I said like friends. Stony, I don't know you well enough yet, but the members of the Zoo Warriors and I have been through a couple battles now. If battles don't draw kinship, I don't know what else does.
Does he wipe away a tear after he said that?
Big old
He
crocodile
turns away to the fire.
He does turn away to the fire. You don't know whether because of the emotional nature of the speech.
You guys don't know.
But the reality of it is he's scanning the area and investigating. Go ahead and give me a investigation check. It's an intelligence modifier.
Oh, for as good as my stuff is here, I'm rolling low. My passive investigation's 15, but this check is going to be it's a 12. No, it starts in 11. I got an 11.
Okay, yeah, you sort of scan the area. Like I said, the longs are a point of interest, seeing as they've been obviously cut with purpose to stoke the fire. Every manner of fireplace tool is here you would need. There's even a little ash pan and one with coals to the right of the fireplace. So it's a well-kept fire, but then the bottles you wanted to investigate, there's tons of them, just like a mountain essentially up to the bottom of the chair. You could see that about half of them have been emptied. A good number of them are not opened yet. There is one that appears to have been spilled, and you can see that it's sort of soaking the bottom right leg of the bear, and then that's all the point of interest around the fireplace aside from the bear rug itself.
Do any of them seem like any illegal narcotics that I've been involved with any cases or would recognize, like a smell or a typical bottle or a look or glow of them?
It does smell like alcohol, but this stuff has been here for a long time. Just looking at the bottles and everything, they're well aged, well worn. Like they even have cobwebs on them. The
bottles have cobwebs on them.
Yes, not from not being moved, but
Gotcha.
from they've obviously been pulled from some sort of storage here, some sort of place that was they dredged them up from the somewhere in the lighthouse. So they're old bottles, but not because they've been sitting here for that long, but because they've been.
Was there any cobwebs on the chair? Does it look like it's been freshly sat?
It does look like it's been moved around, maybe to just better, I guess, center itself with the fire. Too hot, not hot enough, kind of thing. So the bottles and the chair have been moved, recently. They're not stationary for a long period of time, but yes, all the stuff does show its age. All the furniture is kind of out of style. Obviously, there's roots and things growing through the stones that are on the walls. It's you could tell this place is old on top of being destroyed.
I'm gonna let that in my turn. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to walk up to investigate with them.
All right. When you approach, go ahead and give me an investigation check as well.
15.
All right. So you don't notice anything around the fireplace, but you do sort of glance over at the bed that's sort of makeshift. You notice there's like a place where
Sorting hat.
clothes are. There's a wizard hat, and next to the wizard hat is what catches your eye, though. There appears to be a journal or a book. You sort of approach the book. It says on the outside, just like your typical like composition book that you had in school. On the outside, it says Jace, Jace.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out my knife
All right.
and I want to open the front page,
You-
the binding.
Sure. You very carefully sort of undo the leather strap on the side with your knife and sort of, test the waters to make sure it's not a trap. You sort of open the book with your knife. What's that?
Exploding book. Open.
yeah. It's an IED! Ah! No.
Everything in here is just a bomb.
So, best you can tell, it's just a book, but you're being careful nonetheless, using the knife. Very clever. So you turn to the first page, and it does appear to read like a journal. So you see there's sort of appendix here for the journal, just a way to organize the thoughts. You see process for reanimation. You see diagram of chimeras. You see investigation and containment of lightning. Lightning in a bottle. Lighthouse diagrams. And just sort of
Do I see
notes.
an appendix that says ass face on it?
You do not, no. But you have a hunch, sort of thinking back to what Tyrell said, that it may be a chimera, and there is part of the appendix that says diagrams and notes on chimeras. So you can turn.
Tyrell, did you say something about Jimmy Changos or something?
Yes, I actually
Jesus.
chimeras, so I appreciate you understanding what I meant. Yes, let's learn more. Please do turn to that page, that section.
So you sort of flip to it, and you sort of scroll through, just like skim reading, and you get the gist of it. In his own words, you get humanoid creatures are most compatible. Mammals also appear to be more willing to accept cross-species splicing. Insectoids seem particularly difficult to splice, even among their own species. Something tells me it has to do with their exoskeletons. And then sort of the last passage is, the possibilities here are endless. Further samples must be collected if I hope to unlock the potential of splicing and reanimation. So just to bullet point those again for you guys if you're taking notes. Humanoid creatures are most compatible. Mammals also appear to be more willing to accept cross-species splicing. Insectoids are difficult, even among their own. Something to do with the exoskeletons. And the final passage is, the possibilities here are endless. Further samples must be collected if I hope to unlock the potential of splicing and reanimation.
Okay. Out of those other sections,
Sorry, is Stoney reading that out loud to us, or
Yeah,
was that
like story time.
Okay. Reanimation. Tyrell, what can you speak to that about?
I think that's exactly what Darcy was talking to us about, and we saw the effects of what happened by running out that creature thing running out, that faceless eye butthole guy.
I love that nobody has a name for it. It's just so.
I thought we should call it the starfish. I think that was the most appropriate name that Madame Blip Dupulip gave.
One-eyed girl.
Oh, that's pretty darn good.
The brown-eyed girl.
Do you think maybe Jace had the brown eye grow out front, like, and then I mean, did you see one of the glasses over there was knocked over? Do you think maybe it was warning him inside, and he could still be in here?
Sure, yeah. Sure. No reason
Well,
not to.
there's a warm fire. Somebody must have been in here, unless this
Ooh.
fire is an endless magical fire.
Yeah,
Can
that was
anyone?
Nick sort
Can
of
anybody
chuckles,
determine?
says a warm fire. You and I have different definitions of that, and he sort of goes over to put more logs on the fire. He bends down and grabs two and throws them in, and it sort of flames up a little bit more, and you could tell he's trying to dry his clothes still from when he fell in the water.
So in other words, it is real.
It is a real fire.
There wouldn't be logs here if it wasn't a real fire.
Or effect. Hey, can we check any other sections in that book? I mean, are there any notes on the other sections that may have any personal attachments with people? Is there anything that stands out?
So the other categories were processes for reanimation, deeper investigation into the containment of lightning, ability to capture lightning in a bottle, diagrams on the lighthouse, and then just finally just notes.
Okay. Well, I think can we check the diagrams of the lighthouse? That sounds kind of important before we go perusing further.
Sure. So looking at the diagrams, Stony can't really tell what exactly it is. It's a rough sketch. It's like those cut in half sort of sections that you see in books. It just shows the different floors. And you see very notably at the top, there's some sort of apparatus or mechanism that has these like marked in like blue, like cables or wires or something that go all the way through the walls of the entire lighthouse and down into the ground. And it appears as if there's even a sketch of what is potentially a little cave underneath the lighthouse.
I wonder
Is there any part of this cave that's connected to the well?
You don't see a well in the diagram per Stoney's sort of notation, but the cave appears to be underneath the lighthouse directly, and the well was somewhere near the lighthouse, so there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance.
Wow.
Is there any part of it that talks about the best way to rid the failed experiments? Does he dispose of them in any sort of way? Is iron effective against these creatures, or?
So a lot of the books, or a lot of the pages in the book appear to be damaged or missing, torn out or burned. Sort of perusing more with your knife, Stony, you don't seem to see anything that talks about disposing of any of the creatures that he's potentially creating. But you do come across the process for reanimation, and you see the step 1 is inject an unignited solution of blue fire into the limbs, torso, neck with a syringe. Mount the desired cadaver to the slab and secure it with cuffs and straps. Connect the electrical current conductors to the base of the table. Load the copper wire spool onto the bottom of the bolt and wind back the ballista. Await for a thunderstorm, or get a Tempest cleric to call lightning for you. Launch the bolt from the ballista into the sky and proceed to have a lightning strike.
Badass.
Okay.
It's kind of cloudy and misty, so.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any frankincense around?
I'm sensing some Franken. Yes. My last question on the book would be that notes section. Are there any notes?
Sure. So, just to go down the list here, you see his investigation into the containment of lightning in a bottle. So the first note is using lightning to illuminate things like lamps and power mechanisms has limitless potential, but I feel like there's something more to be discovered. I prefer to pass this information off to a small group of localized artificers guild. They could probably follow this path further. Illuminating the city through the long night would do a great deal to put citizens' minds at ease. It seems like the perfect task to turn the gears of the artificers' minds. I think I shall give them this project. See another note that says, I wish to do something truly extraordinary with this power, something I can use to save this city. Its inhabitants are quickly dwindling or leaving. Soon it will just be the rats and criminals. And another note at the bottom, deeper into the journal, you see it says, in short, I have stumbled upon a non-magical version of necromancy. This is how this affects the reanimated subject's brain function is unclear at this time, but this could be a major breakthrough in providing an organic prosthesis for the handicapped. He goes on to outline how he captures lightning in a bottle. Says, upon further experimentation, channeling lightning, I had the crazy notion to contain it within a bottle. After almost one too many close calls, I finally managed to do it. Lining a glass jar with a sheet of copper and installing an iron rod to the base of the inside did the trick. Installing a mechanism to quickly slide a reflective piece of tinfoil I imbued with the reflect magic spell ensured the lightning could only escape when the lid was released. Further note that whenever you remove the lid, whatever may be in its direction is something you wish to destroy. A force of nature like lightning seems to grow more angry with age, so giving these batteries a constant source where they can slowly output electricity would be wise. Storing these jars for prolonged periods is reckless and asking for disaster.
Are there any stored bottles around that we can see as you read that?
You all sort of immediately scan the room for those and see none.
Okay, that's a good sign. There's no bombs.
For the catching lightning in bottle section, the last part you read off, can you take out my PDA and take a quick picture?
Yes, like I will. I'll copy the entire notes here. The last couple notes, though, just to finish this up. The final page expresses his regrets over discovering reanimation and how it was driven a wedge between him and Quinlan, as he refers to her. He says this research must be done to stave off the treachery and blights that have befallen Nicanthes. It is up to me to save this city and bring it back from the dead. I will copy that into...
Can I slam the book
Sure.
shut? Like a very...
Oh, yeah. You slam it shut, and there's dust that sort of shoots out and settles as you sort of peer at everyone in the room. Okay.
I'm sitting... I'm like sitting across... I'm sitting near the fire, crisscross applesauce.
All right, here is... I don't... Oh, it doesn't come in bulleted points. All nice. Like, I had it. Good luck! Oh, no. 2,000 character limit. Uh-oh. I'll upload it as a file. That's probably better. Yeah, I abbreviated. You should see the pages of notes that I have. All right. I think
I've never seen any of your pages of notes. Yeah, I don't.
It should be in Discord now, I think, right? You can see that? Message text. Right?
Maybe it takes a minute.
Upload as a file.
Must upload to Pro.
What?
Download.
It's an attachment? The attachment doesn't show up? Oh, upload file.
YouTube, but yeah.
Oh, well, I'll send you the notes at the end of the session. How about that? Is that fine?
Kind of need it now. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
If you need it, then just ask me, and I'll be happy to fill you in.
Yeah.
You've discerned that the book is not magical aside from its information and the contents potentially. So you can carry it on your person, Tyrell, if you want.
That'd be great. People usually trust me with books.
Yeah.
Do we see any staircases or anything?
I have no reason not to trust Tyrell with the book. I assume that if there's any information we needed, he would give that to us. So.
On the far side of the room, to the left, when you walked in, you did see a staircase. Yes.
Wow. I guess if we're all ready to do that, I'd like to investigate the switch in the room first.
Sure. Yeah.
Like carefully.
Perhaps before pulling any switches, we should look
it.
around the rest of the room.
Not pulling.
Perhaps
you pull this.
Spread out and everybody search a corner or an area before we start to pull any trap doors that may appear. That way we all don't just fall and die.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pull it.
I would prefer only one of us fall and die if you were to pull that lever. It makes more sense.
Tyrell,
And have Billy's voice in my head saying, "Pull it."
Oh, Billy would have been. Yeah, it doesn't matter if we all die. That's hilarious.
Tyrell, it is just before you a giant, what appears to be made out of iron, just a huge lever, and it does scream, "This would be fun to pull." Billy, you know for a fact, would have run in and done his best to pull this, but even Billy would have had a bit of a time to pull this lever over. It looks like it hasn't been pulled in a while, and obviously it is very heavy, tied to some sort of large mechanism, so that's sort of what you perceive just from your initial look.
Perhaps the wizard uses that to open some sort of opening to capture lightning from the sky during the thunderstorm.
Someone has watched. I mean, nothing. That's a great observation.
I have been to many plays, yes. The City of Nicantes has performances.
I fall silent.
Tyrell, looking at the diagram, you do seem to notice that there appear to be little toggles on each one of the floors. You think it might be these switches, but it's hard to really know for sure. The blue wires that appear to run from floor to floor are connected to these toggles.
Oh boy. You guys should come look at this.
I disagree. I think we should spread out and investigate and then go look at that.
Nick sort of sits down in the chair and sort of picks a bottle up off of the chair and says, "I'll investigate by the fire." And investigate this finely aged drink.
I'll walk to a different corner and.
Which corner are you walking to?
Yeah, just pick one. It's fine.
All right, you pick the kitchen. So you sort of make your way across. No traps you detect.
Okay.
But you make it
I'll
to
let
the.
you go to some. I'll let you go to somebody else. I've had
Sure,
plenty
sure.
of turns here. So.
You don't find anything but broken utensils and things in the kitchen anyway, so. Kitchen's a dead end.
I thought Stoney had a question. I thought I heard you say.
Nope. Hey, Tug, what do you see over there?
A huge lever. I think I'm gonna pull it.
But
We
no.
just go the other direction.
What do you want to do, Tug?
Pull the lever.
Oh.
Is Soul encouraging him to pull the lever?
I'm pulling the lever.
All right. Give me a
As I see him doing this.
Sure. Give me a strength check, and Tyrell, give me a reaction to see if you can stop him before.
Nope.
10?
So
Long lever.
you go up to wrench on this thing and you give it a good pull, but it kind of groans, and you can tell that the iron on it has kind of causing a lot of friction between the other components But you do feel it give a little bit of a budge there. It doesn't go, but with some more pulls on it, you could get it.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna give it another go.
Tyrell, another reaction? Are you want to try and stop him at this point, or are you just gonna let him go?
I got a 15.
All right. So you sort of put your hand out onto Tug's shoulder. You get a moment here to say something to him.
Hey, what are you doing?
It's enough to sort of pull his hands off and her hands off and get her attention. So she's facing you at this point.
I think you're completely correct in just going back and forth between any pronouns or Christian, as you feel free.
Yeah, no, they are both.
I'm gonna use my charisma to convince Tyrell he needs to help me pull this lever.
Ooh, do you have a magical way to convince him? Like a spell or something?
I think he just has really high charisma.
Yeah, but does that override a player's?
It's not going to override his mindset unless you can somehow charm him with Kobe's right, with a spell or something.
Or 20.
Or just convince him with your speech.
I mean, I was just hoping I could convince him.
Yeah, try it.
Use your words.
Hey, Tyrell, you know we need to pull this lever. Help me pull it.
Why? Why do we need to?
Just come here. And I
step closer.
I pull him closer. I put a hand on the lever. And then I put his other hand on the lever. And then I grab the lever. And then I put my claw on the lever. And I start pulling. I go, come on.
You now have 4 hands on the shaft, and you are pulling on the shaft, and it is budging. It's starting to move slowly. It's kind of grinding.
There we go. There we go, Tyrell. Little harder. Come on. We can get there.
You hear a horrendous, just like metal screeching sound as you grind this thing back slowly, and it finally, finally reaches the other side. And nothing happens.
Well, that was a letdown.
Yeah, I'm just covered in sweat.
Seeing that they disregarded my suggestion not to do anything till we investigated, I'm just going to walk towards the other side and investigate along that wall.
Sure.
Those rugs, do they look like rugs that I've seen on the ship of... what was that captain's name? The captain of the Blue Suns.
So these...
His ship.
Yeah, these appear to have quite a bit of... collected quite some mothballs. Like, they've got giant gaping holes in them where just time and worn away at them. It'd be hard to discern if they were of the same make, but they don't seem as fine of a quality as the ones you saw, even in their state.
Well, I'm just going to casually investigate through all this junk over here while Sailor Sun or Stoney are out doing things. So
you sort of come across more rubble, broken beams from up above. You sort of look up into the ceiling and see that there are more missing sort of floorboards. You can kind of see up into the rooms up above you. You don't know if it's the wind or what, but you can hear creaking upstairs in sort of a rhythmic fashion. There's, like I said, rotten food in the crates. Like there's maggots and things crawling around. There's any number of crates, but they've all sort of worn or washed away. They're all busted and broken. Some are open more than others. The biggest crates are probably the most well sealed. All the little ones have been smashed into. The bookcase, all the books seem old, hard to read, not anything of real interest. But you can give me another investigation check.
Box is floating.
I rolled a nat 20.
All right. So you notice that the box up there is open. The box at the very top, you can see the lid sort of off the top of it.
Yeah.
It is a point worth investigating. You sort of climb up on the boxes and you peer inside, and there's a lever.
I'm not going to say anything to anybody else at this moment.
All right.
After hearing that horrible metal screech, I'm not going to just go and pull anything. I'm going to observe maybe what everyone else is doing while I'm standing up here, just
Sure.
trying to look around at things.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go in the other corner that has not been viewed.
So you don't find much here. Just rubble, some broken pots and jars and bags of grain spilled out onto the floor. And again, rubble from the ceiling up above, where you can see the floor is more spotty than the stone floor you're on. You could tell that the wood floor and the insides have not aged as well as the rest of the building. The building made of stone, and the components down on this ground seem to have taken some fire damage, but most of everything down here is at least, still a structure. Up above, it looks like you might run into things that are more destroyed, so that's about all you discern from the corner you're at here. You can see, again, the stairs ahead of you and up above you that lead to the second floor. There's no lights or anything coming from the second floor.
Nothing over here, guys.
Sailor Son, have you found anything?
No, I'm just trying to take it all in and see if anything really reaches out, whether physically or metaphorically.
Well, seeing as that lever in the middle didn't seem to activate anything, perhaps I can assist. And I'm going to pull that switch.
All right. You pull the switch, and you see Nick sort of fall backwards out of his chair as the fireplace in front of it opens up. Nick sort of gets up and dusts himself off and looks over at the bear trap that he almost fell backwards onto.
That would have been hilarious if he fell back into that.
If it would have been positioned a little differently, yeah. And he sort of...
I look down at the staircase to see if there's any ashen footprints going down.
So yeah, it's a ladder, in fact, and there don't appear to be any footsteps, but you notice that the bottle that had been knocked over, the liquid was actually running over and down the side. So upon a better investigation, you would have noticed that there was something underneath the fireplace. But you managed to find the switch regardless, and you can see that it leads to some sort of stone column down below. You can recognize that stone down there is something similar to what you've seen in the sea, the ocean you've traversed thus far.
Do we want to split up? I know in the best stories, the group splits up and some investigate the basement and some investigate the upper floors. Or do we want to stick together?
You hear a little voice in the back of your head, Detective Easter. Even as you're saying it, you're like, we should not split up.
Then the choice is, do we go up or do we go down? The secret lever opened into the basement, or we can continue up towards the top of the tower. But seeing as we have no flame to light in the tower, Tyrell, I do not know what all we are hoping to accomplish there other than to investigate.
Yeah. We have nothing for the below. At least we knew about the quest to go to the top, which basically what we know from the story, of course, is the first level is pretty normal. We go up to a second level, where we're going to start seeing as long as nothing's changed since the last, you know, time Darcy was out here. Jars of body parts, organs, on the natures of things that old Jace has been experimenting with multiple species to create the creatures. Oh god. Don't say
Hmm. Well, it sounds like we might be in for more surprises above, but below perhaps could give us tools to help us against these surprises. You never know.
I'm going with the devil I do know, which is we've already seen some of these chimera being very non-threatening. Notes say there's no known brain functions, so I think we're pretty low risk, even with the third floor potentially having
Mm.
the amalgamations of these chimeras on that floor. The most unknown, though, to be similar to the basement is the fourth floor, where Darcy never did get inside.
Hmm.
Nick sort
Well,
of
if we are not going to go above, then we should close the trap door.
Nick,
Unless Jace is expecting.
Nick sort of nods and says, "I think up is good."
Okay. Then I shall close the trap door, but I think we should also be prepared. I'm going to try to disarm that bear trap and take it with us. It might be useful to have it placed elsewhere in case we get into a jam.
Sure. Yeah, you know it's there. You have no problem, taking one of the logs from the rubble, forcing it to close on the head of the bearskin rug. You sort of pry it open
Okay.
and free it from the bearskin, and you've got a bear trap.
Very cool. Would anybody have more use with this bear trap than I? I am very capable for running right into combat, but perhaps other people are better at setting traps.
I could probably come up with something.
Ah,
Riley.
Tyrell,
I was gonna say,
it is yours.
give it to the whiz kid over there. I'm sure this has got any manner of springs and mechanisms and stuff he could use.
Of course. Tyrell, the bear trap is yours. Do with it what you see fit.
It's massive.
Oh yeah, it is hefty. I mean, it's something that you could maybe take apart now and use the components for, or carry with you, but it might impede your movement a little bit.
Yeah. If I take apart, what parts do I get?
Yeah, so there's a pressure plate that you get from it. There's a spring that you get from it, like a industrial spring. And then most of the other mechanisms, are like the teeth, are pretty well cast. So you also get a trigger release. So the pressure plate, the trigger release, and the spring, industrial spring. Those are the main things you get from them.
I can put it in my bag of holding if you want me to.
Bag of holding. You zoo warriors are quite wealthy to have one of those.
Yeah. I'll hand them for the bag of holding as I think through what I may be able to.
Sure.
Nick, you had that very useful spell scroll, and we are in the Tower of a Wizard. Do you recognize any other spell scrolls that may be in here that could be useful for our party? I myself have never used a spell scroll.
One-time magical use items. It's kind of a throwaway, but I got more on me. Looking around the room, I honestly can't see much of use of it about any of this stuff aside from the alcohol on the ground. So no, I mean that journal that you got there seems pretty useful.
Very well.
Yeah, spooky ooky, creepy, damp, dark place. Kind of curious to see what's on the next floors, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm going to move towards the stairs.
Sure. So looking up at the stairs, like I said, there's no light source coming from the top. There are some missing stairs, but they're easy enough to identify, so you guys can go up to the next level if you're all ready and done with this floor.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I have my flashlight I can shine from the bottom, or I know that some of you can see very well in dim light. I am not as fortunate to have that great of eyesight. But if anybody needs me to go last to shine the light so they can watch their step, I can do that. Otherwise, I'll continue up and lead the way.
Let's get...
And Nick just goes, "See ya."
Peace.
I can see just fine. I'll follow Nick.
Sure. I just got to get the 2 characters I don't have special characters for up onto the right floor here. And then the rest of you, I can just teleport.
Whoa.
So, Detective Easter, yeah, you're the first to the top of the stairs. Top of the stairs.
The stop at a test.
The stop of the stairs. But as you make it to the top, you sort of shine your flashlight through the room. And in front of you, you don't see anything aside from some shelves that appear to hold a great number of jars, some sort of spools of copper wire, some emblemics, some tables over to the left, 1 or 2 of which notably have what appear to be human corpses chained to them. They're not moving. You do hear a rustling, like someone ran into a bookshelf. You scan the flashlight over to the right, and you see the same glowing eyes that you have seen outside once before. Some sort of humanoid on all fours, just as still as a statue, looking at you.
Yeah. Over there is another one of the creatures.
I'm okay leaving it alone, but
It appears to be waiting for you to make a movement.
I'm going to move over towards the body to see if that person's still alive.
So you're moving away. The eyes shift from you to the rest of the group that's standing there. As you approach the other body, you see that this person, or dwarf more accurately, has been like pinned open. Like a, dissection science experiment, like organs and limbs and muscles and bones. Obviously, it's all rotted away. Most of it's a skeleton at this point, but you're kind of surprised that more of the flesh hasn't rotted away than it already has. And as you are inspecting the dwarf in front of you, you hear the chains rattle to your right as the corpse attempts to get up off the table, but is chained to it. It's a female humanoid, some sort of half-elf or something from the looks of it, but you can see that this is some sort of undead zombie chained to the table here and still alive. Much in the same...
Zombie!
Much in the same condition as the dwarf, like barely any flesh on the bones. You could, practically a skeleton.
It reminds me of a time when I was watching one of the plays at the theaters, and there was these 2 half-brothers, and one of them had attacked the other one, started to bury him, and he came back, from the grave, and he yelled "zombie" and tried to hit him again with a shovel.
As you shout "zombie," you hear more bottles clang as something runs into the shelves, and what pokes out from the end of one of the aisles but a stumbling zombie. It sort of rounds the corner, and you hear other movement and shuffles inside the room as the ghoul starts to approach as well. I need everybody to roll initiative.
Ba 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 ba. Yeah, crap.
Ooh, 20 start off.
All right.
I got a 1.
Stoney with a 20.
I've had like 2 20s on stupid stuff, and now we're back into combat. And I start off initiative with a 1.
I'm gonna roll 3 times here.
I'm gonna go to the restroom real fast.
Okay. 14 for Z1. Five for Z2. And 4. Okay. I'll count down from 20. Stoney's already at 20, so 19, 18, 17, 16, 15,
Lib.
14, 13, soul, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tyrell,
Detective Easter.
you rolled a 1.
Oh, I did. Yeah, mine was 1.
Tyrell, what did you roll? I didn't hear you.
Oh, I tapped mine in 14.
14. All right. Okay. So Zombie 1 is going to go after Stony. Stony, you were so far at the top of my list I wrote down, I almost missed you. Stony, you are first. What you going to do?
I want to throw my trident at the closest thing.
All right. Give me a D20 roll.
It'll be a 16.
Let me check my... Oh, yeah. You break that armor class.
Right. So that one will just be a 6.
All right. So, yeah, it sort of lodges in the chest, like, cavity of the right of it as it penetrates it, and you see some of the, like, organs and stuff fall out of its gut from the impact of your trident as it sort of hits the floor, and you see them slop through the floorboards down to below the level you were just on, and you sort of realize you need to watch your footing in here. But your trident has pierced and is lodged in the zombie.
All right. I'm gonna use my bonus action to recall my trident.
All right. So you sort of throw out your hand, and it retracts back into your hand, flies across the room. How much damage did you say that did again?
Just 6.
6, that's right. You got another action if you...
2 actions.
Oh,
Oh, it's loud. Well, you scared me with the whole floorboard thing, so now I don't want to really move.
I just said be aware of where you're walking.
Okay. Now I'm gonna throw out the other one. Throw out the ghoul.
Okay. So you're going to throw it across the room. Yep, you still got a clear line of sight. Go ahead and roll D20.
Oh, 22.
Yep, you hit for sure.
Okay. 6 again.
All right. You sort of hit this thing, and you pin its leg to the floorboards, and you see it's like trying to get away with its leg pinned to the floorboards as its sort of blackish blood is pouring out on the ground. The ghoul seems to be much more whole than the zombie, but also some sort of more subhuman form. But it takes a good little chunk of damage.
Okay. And then I just want to, get my shield up.
All right.
In case they move faster than we think.
Sure. All right, Zombie 1. After watching its guts slop to the floor and go through, you see it take a single step forward and crash through the floorboards down onto the level below. Just in a clatter of wooden rubble and mess, you see kind of through the floorboards, you can already see he crashes and lands on the table down below. So that's one less zombie to worry about. He's still alive down there, but he's kind of impaled on one of the like.
You mean he's still undead down there?
Yes, he's still undead down there. That's more accurate to what I'm saying. That brings us to Blib's turn. Blib, what you want to do?
Where's the second zombie at?
There's a ghoul over that's been pinned down by the trident, and the other zombie is the one that's still thrashing around on the table by Detective Easter.
Okay. Well, has the ghoul even tried to attack us, or was it just the zombie?
The zombie's the only thing that made a move for you. The ghoul looked like it was just trying to judge if you were a friend or foe, kind of thing. Like just like any animal would. Like it's trying to judge.
I guess I want to move over to the ghoul carefully. I want to check my footing.
Yeah. So you approach. There's a chair in front of you, but you can move forward. Everything still seems fine.
Yeah.
That's where the ghoul fell down. How do you want to proceed through this area?
I guess I want to go to the left.
All right. Yeah, so looking at the floorboards, the sort of square in front of you, you see that the boards are a little bit more uneven, untrustworthy. That's about how far your movement's going to get you. So it's put you on the other side of the pillar here with the ghoul. You have another action if you want to continue to move or prepare a spell or something. Walking past, you didn't see anything else down the aisles. You did see a fireplace. You don't see that zombie over there yet because you haven't rounded the corner.
I guess I want to round the
corner.
Yeah, I guess I want to kind of round the corner. I guess I can't go in between that pillar and the spot to get to the ghoul, can't
So it's a tight squeeze, but you could fit through there. Like the cauldron is kind of in the way. It's a big cauldron, but it's not, like, yes, you'd have to sort of squeeze through there, but you could do it. You could fit on either side.
Well, I think I want to look around.
Sure, yeah. You look to your left, and there's a big hole in the floor between you and this zombie, and you can see that it's making moves to approach you, but it really doesn't have anywhere to go aside from down, unfortunately, for it, not for you. So it.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna taunt it.
All right. What do you taunt it? How do you taunt it?
Come here, zombie, zombie, zombie.
So yeah, you maybe stick a little of your hindquarters out there and shake your butt, kind of slap your cheeks, and zombie moves forward and does exactly as you expected him to and falls through the floorboards. Although this time you hear an additional crash, as it doesn't just fall through one level, but also falls through the trap down below and into the spike pit.
Very nice. Hey, guys, be careful over here. Fall into a spike pit with an undead.
I think that's your actions, right?
Yeah, that's my turn.
Soul, you are up. So you got Detective Easter over to the left with some cadavers chained to the table. You saw Tug do a little dance. You see the ghoul still pinned down to the right with the trident by Stony. You know the floorboards are maybe untrustworthy in spots, but what you want to do? You there, Ian?
I hear silence. You didn't say my name, did you?
No. I said Soul.
Oh, okay. I was like, crap.
Technically, Sailor Sun's out right now.
Sorry, Sailor Sun. Are you on mute, Ian? Maybe? Or did you step away?
Oops, sorry, I'd just gone to put something up real fast.
Oh, you're all good. So there's the ghoul over to your right with the trident still stuck in its leg. It's kind of pinned. You saw Tug do a little dance and heard a big crash. Zombie probably falling through the floor yet again. And then there's 2 zombies chained to the tables over by Detective Easter. Number of different sort of aisles of different items on them. But you're still kind of in combat here. So what you want to do? You got options.
Can I attack the one immediately to my right?
Yep, sure thing. You got clear line of sight.
Yeah, I'm just gonna use my Eldritch Blast.
All right, go for it.
11.
All right. It breaks armor class. Go ahead and roll damage.
Cool. Eight.
All right, you Eldritch Blast the ghoul, and the force of it rips its leg off. Its leg is still pinned to the ground by the trident, and it throws it into the bookshelf. And the bookshelf topples over on top of the ghoul, and you see it go limp. You got another action if you want.
Can I go check out any of the books at the bookshelf?
Sure, yeah. So you approach the bookshelf here. How do you want to proceed through this area?
I just want to look down and see if there anything that might stick out title-wise of...
You're still kind of far away from the bookshelf here.
Well, then never. Actually, I don't want to go forward. It looks like the floors are a little untrustworthy.
They are, as far as you can tell.
I'm going to just kind of move towards... Is that Tug?
Yep, that's Tug.
I'm going to move towards Tug.
All right. So as you move towards Tug, you sort of look down the aisles here. You see a great number of jars and bottles containing things. Like I said before, maybe some spools of copper wire. Just lots and lots and lots of jars and bottles, all that seem to be filled with murky sort of contents. It's hard to make out what they are in the heat of combat here, but yeah, as you make it up to Tug, you sort of round the corner with them, and you see over to the left the hole where the zombie fell through and down 2 more levels.
Whoa, Tug.
Yeah. And that will bring us to Tyrell's turn.
I quickly and carefully as I can want to be getting over to the zombie on the table that has elvish features.
So you make your way around, following the same path that Detective Easter did, because you know his passive perception's pretty darn good, and you make it over to the half-elf on the table. You can see that she is still thrashing at the chains as best as she can, with as little sort of muscular structure that she has left, but she's like reaching a hand out for you, you can see, but she's still chained to the table.
Reaching a hand. It's not like a clenched fist that might have like something, a note in the hand or anything.
It's an open hand. It appears to be one of desire, one of hunger.
Oh, I'm not edible. I wonder, is there any effects on this being of like necklace, ring?
It doesn't appear to have anything on its person aside from just the tattered remains of its clothes. You could barely call it that, if anything. Hangs kind of gaunt on its figure, just skeleton showing through most of the...
Tyrell ended suffering like you ended that child's suffering.
You made me remember another regret and mistake of my life tonight. Are there any other like labels or anything on it? Is this Jace mad scientist guy organized by his notes? Maybe not super well, and also didn't take care of them. They're all burnt. And
There
There-
doesn't appear to be anything in the notes. This, from your memory, is the floor where there was some experimentation going on. You get the sense that the dwarf to the left was what he was examining, and that this was like a fresh undead cadaver that he was saving to dismember at a later time. But obviously, something transpired that he never freed it from its bonds, its chains. You do notice many jars on things that have been removed from these cadavers up above each one of the tables. You can see that the jars above this one are in fact empty and have gone unused. So that's where you discerned the fact that this one was to be dissected, as opposed to where the other one across the dwarf already has things in jars.
Okay. I'm feeling like it's probably not likely this is Quinn or Quinlan, because that was also decades ago. So unless zombies can literally roam around that long, I'm thinking not if they don't have any brains. So I feel a little more relieved thinking through this. I don't think it doesn't seem likely.
All right. If that's the end of your turn, it's gonna be the ghoul's turn. So the ghoul, after going limp to the bookcase falling on it, both of you sort of hear a rumble as it sort of shakes back to life, and you can see it sort of crawling and making headway to get out from back underneath the bookshelf. It'll make a strength check to see if it can do that. It does not. So even though it makes a little progress, it is still trapped underneath the bookshelf. It has reanimated. It is not dead. The zombie on the table is going to make a strength check. 8. So it thrashes at its chains, but nothing. Makes another check to try and escape. 20. So, as it thrashes at its chains yet again, you see its arm dislodge. And its arm sort of thumps on the table in front of you, Tyrell, and then you see it flip over, and it starts to scuttle. And its hand is free from the chains and appears to be working, still somehow connected to the mind of the zombie, or maybe a mind of its own. But the hand is making its way, crawling across the table to you. And it is Detective Easter's turn.
Yep. Real quick, sword in the brain of the guy in front of me.
All right. You go up, stab the brain. You realize that there's nothing in the brain cavity. The brain's in the jar up above. But you make sure to ensure that the corpse on the table before you is in fact dead for good.
Yep. And I'm going to go up to the other zombie and sword in the brain.
All right. You walk over. No check needed here. You sword in the brain, and you see the hand fall limp, just as it was about to leap and attack Tyrell.
Tyrell, do not hesitate with zombies. They will not hesitate with you.
I'll think about it.
And that's my TED Talk, so that's kind of in my turn. I'm okay with that, ending my turn.
Cop sunglasses on after you said that.
Yes. I gave him a Dare shirt, so it's all good. He understood the talk and what it all meant.
That brings us, if that's the end of your turns, back to the top to Stony.
Yep. I just want to, recall my trident.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I need to go with Nick first. He's on my list as well. He was at the bottom. So Nick's gonna approach all the way and start to head down one of these aisles. He appears to be approaching with his dagger, like his very thin, sort of knife-like needle point dagger, and he sort of flips it around and turns it upside down, ready for like a stabbing motion with it in the air, ready for anything that rounds the corner. He makes his way halfway down the aisle, and now Stony, it is your turn. Sorry to interrupt you there.
You're fine. Yep, recall the trident.
Sure thing. It thwangs off of the ground, but it does come with the leg of the ghoul. You see it coming, you kind of sidestep it and like do this flash as you flick it off of your trident, and it smacks the wall and falls on the ground behind you.
And then I want to go down the other aisle, one that Nick did not.
Okay. So
Kind
you
of inspect.
sure you approach, kicking rocks out of your way here. Damn, wasted a good roll. But you approach, and you see that, yes, indeed, the floorboards are rather perilous ahead of you. But looking down the aisles, all the bottles appear to be of the same size.
Barbecue sauce.
They're all containing different organs, sometimes fetuses, sometimes small creatures. Everything from birds to rats to skeletons to like the sharp smell of formaldehyde to fish and like I said, human organs, creatures' organs. They're all labeled. The labels have all sort of faded or dusted away, but it's just a sort of
Good.
collection of horrors here.
Do I see any copper wire?
You don't see any copper wire down this aisle. This aisle is completely and entirely just jars.
Do I see any penises?
You do, in fact. You see a dwarf penis in the jar to your left.
Okay, can I grab that bottle?
Sure. You sort of, when you grab it, you notice that the penis has a beard.
Is it erect?
It is not erect, but it is rather flaccid. It kind of has like when you shake the bottle.
Make some jars around, see if it changes that status.
When you grab the bottle, even to pull it off the shelf, you can see parts of it sort of flake away, almost like fish food or something. Like it's, disturbing the bottle is.
Feed it to Tug.
Okay.
All right.
I want to leave the aisle. I can't. I don't know if I have any.
Sure, yeah. You leave the aisle and reach out to the end of it, and let's see. We'll jump over to the zombie down below. Is still stuck on the stick, so he's not going anywhere. Blib, it's your turn. So the ghoul is still trapped behind the bookcase behind you. That's what's keeping initiative from being dropped at this moment.
I guess I want to go over to the ghoul.
All right. You kind of carefully squeeze between the cauldron and the pillar. And the ghoul is like looking up at you, sort of gnashing its teeth and its tongue, just trapped under the bookcase. It's just trying to look as menacing as possible, sort of taking swipes at your legs, but you've kept your distance as it's pinned under the bookcase. How do you want to proceed here?
Well, I guess I want to cast Ray of Frost. On a hit, it takes 1d8 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet at the 5th level. This goes. So yeah, I'm gonna cast Ray of Frost, and it'll be 2d8s.
All right.
I got a 20.
All right. Tell me how you finish it off. Critical hit.
I look right at it and kind of sadly go, well, bam, and it to death.
All right. In this motion and just ray of frosting it to death, you see it finally go limp, and it's loses all of its animation. You sort of look up past the bookcase that's fallen down onto it, and you see yet another great iron lever behind the ghoul. Initiative is dropped.
Tyrell.
But you
Let
guys,
down your long hair.
you guys are free to explore this level, but I think this is probably a good place for us to stop off for tonight.
And then a sudden drop off.
You all fall through the floorboards to your death. No.
Stay tuned next week.
But no. Good job. Thoughts, feelings? How's it going so far?
I'm a little confused about the ghoul. Like, I felt bad about putting it down because I don't think it's evil. I don't think it was ever out for us.
No, it attacked me.
No, it didn't.
I'm getting
Detective Easter does not feel bad about killing a zombie.
Yeah.
No,
At
zombies.
all.
The zombies I was fine with, but the ghoul was just trying to like run away and hide, and you freaking ripped its leg off. And I was just putting it down out of its misery.
Well, ghouls are classified as monsters, which are okay to kill for the most part.
I just kept it there. You're the one who killed it, bro.
It's not really a creature. It's a monster.
I think Tug's having old flashbacks to when you guys first encountered the Kuatoa, who were considered monsters.
Are you gonna be a ghoul?
Queen of the ghouls, Queen of the Kuatoa, Queen of any monsters out there. Queen of the monsters would be a pretty cool title.
That's cool.
But I don't think the Kuatoa are monsters. They seem to be a group of fish people.
Yeah, I don't know that you want to refer to your constituents as monsters either. Like you're kind of writing yourself a problem there. So, but no, good job. What'd you think of the butthole monster?
Yeah, I mean,
The brown-eyed girl.
Brown-eyed girl. That is the best nickname I've ever heard for the monster. So that,
I mean, honestly, that would be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we reacted enough to that.
Especially running at you. I would be fully in shock.
Like crab monster running butthole first with an eyeball in it. Like straight up hard pass.
Especially if it's blinking at you.
yeah, it's butt cheeks where it's eyelids essentially. But that I can't remember where I saw it first. It's a yokai, so it's like a monster. But
A yokai.
yeah, it preys on people. I got this book of yokais. It preys on people on like lonely travelers or whatever. Like I sort of adopted it a little bit for our purposes for this game, but yeah, it imagine that thing like you're on a trail at night, like the Greenways Trail or something, just having a nice peaceful walk, and suddenly someone bends over and reveals to you that their anus is in fact an eyeball and starts running at you on all fours. I always thought that was super terrifying and disturbing all at once. Like,
Can you choose?
They deserve a good kick in the ass, is what they deserve.
yeah.
Lots of questions.
Then
for
I
Jason.
never go out again at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I fully trust Tyrell with the book. There's no reason for Detective Easter not to trust Tyrell with the book.
Yeah.
I will get you those notes, by the way, but I'll end the stream for now. Everybody say nighty-night.
Nighty-night.